vulnerable groups, even as the state heads into a third year without a budget. Wednesday's ruling by Judge Joan Lefkoe does not order the state to pay $2 billion in unpaid medical bills immediately and in full. That could have deepened the state's financial crisis. Marlins avoid the three-game sweep with a 6-5 win over the Cubs at Wrigley Field. Jacob Ferria pitched into the seventh inning in his Major League Baseball debut, leading the Rays over the White Sox 3-1. Bulls head coach Fred Hoiberg not going anywhere, apparently. Hoiberg telling the Tribune he has no intention of leaving after rumors linked him to the recent vacancy at Ohio State. Hoiberg just finished up his second season with the Bulls. The news, a service of Triton College. At Triton College, you'll find real quality in their modern facilities and dedicated faculty. You'll find real value in their courses that will cost you a fraction of four-year schools. At Triton College, you'll find real opportunity. Visit triton.edu today. 5:06, we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Anarchists taking to the streets. Hollywood more vocal than ever. Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer making baseless accusations on a daily basis.
And again, the facts are what are important.
And the press has lost all objectivity, responsibility, and quite possibly their minds. One thing is for certain. We must be doing something right. Keep calm and listen. AM 560, The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Did you know that if you have mutual funds in your IRA, 401k, or investment accounts, that according to Forbes magazine, you could be paying as much as 3.17% in hidden fees every single year? 3.17% may not sound like much, but over 10 years, it's costing you 32%, whether your fund is up or down. Hi, it's Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group in Chicago and host of the Alpha Wealth Hour on AM 560. This is just one of the reasons I hate mutual funds, and you should too. You may not know this, but you have far more investment options today without the excessive fees. Learn what they are in my free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds. What you learn may shock you. To get your free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds, call 630-519-4742. There's no obligation. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
If your roof is needy, if your roof is leaky,
call Grumweedy.
If your roof isn't right after it's stormy and shingles are curly,
call Grumweedy.
If your roof is looking needy, call Crumweedy. This is Mark Olson of Crumweedy.
And I'm Greg Olson from Crumweedy. We are a third-generation family-run business. We've been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953.
You really can't do that unless you do really amazing roofs. We share the same conservative values as you, and we really want to do your roof. Here's what you can expect.
First, no high pressure. You make the choice. Whatever option you choose, count on getting a roof that lasts at a fair price.
You see, application is really the key. We follow the manufacturer's specifications so your warranty is intact. You know, a lot of companies don't do that, and that could really void your warranty.
No horror stories here. The roof you need that will fix your problems. When your roof is needy,
call Grumweedy.
For your needy roof, go to myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
Hey, got a great night's sleep last night, all because of MyPillow. And if you haven't bought a MyPillow yet, then why not? Maybe you've seen them in the store, maybe at Bed Bath & Beyond, other places. But the radio deal using my name, Amy, as the promo code is a much better deal. It is the best deal available. And in June, you'll receive the 50% discount on a MyPillow 4-pack. That's 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, all for 50% off. What a deal. Now, you can move the fill to give you the exact support you need, regardless of sleep position, whether you sleep on your back or your side, and you'll sleep deep and won't wake up to a stiff neck or headache. My good friend Jennifer, who lives in Kansas, loves her MyPillow, sleeps on it every night, wrote to me and said that she really can't live without it. And our good friend Mike Lindell manufactures them in America using American labor. You can wash and dry them. They're hypoallergenic, and you'll get the 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. What do you have to lose? And guess what? In the month of June, get the 50% off the 4-pack by calling this number. Are you ready? Write it down. 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit mypillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy. And we want you to just do it.
511 in Chicago. Let's get an update on your morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. The latest with Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good Thursday morning, Mike. We've got some road work delays on northbound I-55. Traffic is stop and go from Weber Road to B453. That road work is in the process of clearing for our workers in that area. On the inbound Bishop Ford Freeway, it's slow from 111th to the merge after some overnight work. 21 minutes, 80-94 to the Rhine. Outbound fine in 15 minutes. I-57 southbound, the Bourbonnais area. Traffic is forced off at the County Road 6000 North interchange, off and back on via the ramps there. That's due to the ongoing construction that's scheduled until 7 o'clock this morning. Elsewhere, the expressways and tollways are looking good at this hour. Traffic is a service of Napa Auto Parts. This month at participating Napa stores, Valvoline Full Synthetic Motor Oil is on sale for just $5.59 a quart. Take advantage now and protect your engine from the heat all summer long. General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state or local taxes or recycling fees. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, mostly sunny, high 82. Tonight, partly cloudy with a passing shower, low 62. Tomorrow, periods of clouds and sunshine with a shower or thunderstorm around, high 83. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
54 at O'Hare, 60 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Fox River Periodontics, Chicagoland specialist with dental implants. To get your smile back, visit implantsforme.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So it's the big day.
It's such a big day that guess what I have for you?
So anticlimactic it's going to be.
No, it's going to be good. I got a Comey cup of coffee, huh? From Carlos over there at Dunkin' Donuts.
It's just a cup of coffee that somebody wrote Comey on.
I know, but we were joking around this morning when I was there at Addison and Elston that it's going to be a Comey cup of coffee day because everyone's going to be talking about it. And countdown clock. 2 hours, 46 minutes, and 8 seconds now.
I mean, CNN is just embarrassing themselves. How do you like this one? Wiley E. Comey.
Wiley E. Comey. That's
because good. He's like the coyote in the Roadrunner, where he thinks he's going to set the trap for the Roadrunner, and he ends up, the TNT ends up blowing up in his face, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That may be extreme on the Comey side or the Wiley E. Comey side, but from the prepared testimony that was conveniently released the day before.
Don't know how that happened. I mean, really, he should start a PR firm when he's done with all this because he is trying to, save himself. Basically. So by releasing the 7-page, which I'm sure you have memorized, the 7-page report or memo, he's trying to do just that.
Detailing all of his interactions with the president. But before.
And then inserting himself.
But before even that, I mean, it is relevant that you had the National Security Agency director and the director of national intelligence testify before the Senate yesterday. And here's what Admiral Mike Rogers, NSA, had to say.
In the 3+ years that I have been the director of the National Security Agency, to the best of my recollection, I have never been directed to do anything I believe to be illegal, immoral, unethical, or inappropriate. And to the best of my recollection, during that same period of service, I do not recall ever feeling pressured to do so.
That's a fairly comprehensive statement. So that would certainly inform the discussion today, I suspect. It seems to me this is setting up to be what I suggested it would, which is this is Comey reputation management. He is going to, say, and the statement bears that out, that he felt that Trump was trying to influence the investigation. It was never impeded. There is no obstruction of justice. The demand for loyalty, which was previously reported and then reported yesterday like it was news, all it was is it came from Comey as opposed to an anonymous source. That's a political matter, not a legal one.
Really? So you don't think this will be a show worth watching? I mean, they're calling it the Super Bowl of politics.
Who's they?
Oh, the mainstream media. This is the big sell for everyone to watch so that they can generate revenue for their advertisers.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the hype machine, but I also recognize it for, being a hype machine.
But this 7-page report is pretty interesting, don't you think? I mean, it's a little concerning, awkward, inappropriate, but I spoke with a federal judge yesterday who said if Trump had asked me, and we're going to go through the whole thing, but had asked me, to lift the cloud or to, I would get in his face and say, I am loyal to the Constitution and you shouldn't be having this conversation with me and then leave. But Comey didn't do that. And he kept coming back and he kept taking his phone calls and he didn't stand up for himself. It was he was just, I don't know if he was concerned about losing his job but it was inappropriate, I think, for President Trump to ask him for his loyalty. That sounded a little off.
Well, that's what Paul Ryan said as well, but he said that and he made this additional point in his interview with Greta Van Susteren. Yeah, she's still on the air over at MSNBC.
Oh, I forgot about her.
Is it appropriate for the president to ask for a question of loyalty for the FBI director?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously I don't think that is. I think Director Comey will probably get a lot of questions about that tomorrow, would be my guess. But I don't think that that's new. I think that that's already been reported on. I think that was something that was in the New York Times, a month or two ago.
I think the big difference here is that we're not hearing it through anonymous sources, but from the former FBI director.
That's right. The difference is we're getting it, and tomorrow you'll have it live and in person. So I think that is, so it's not difference in substance, but it's difference when we're hearing it straight from the director himself.
Okay.
Right.
Is it
so
inappropriate? I know it's not obstruction of justice, but to ask somebody for their loyalty?
Yeah, it's Donald Trump's liberalness with the English language striking again. His imprecision with the English language. I mean, he's an executive branch employee. I want to feel like I can trust you.
Are you part of the team?
Yeah, loyalty rather than saying, look, I want you to do a great job. I want to put the campaign behind us if you wanted to keep him, which, by the way, I said he shouldn't have. He should have been the first order of business to get rid of him. But, do your job. And let's come to expeditious conclusions to outstanding investigations so they don't languish. Go wherever the facts lead, find what the truth is, and then let's wrap it up and let's move on to other bigger things like, I don't know, interdicting terrorist attacks. That, to me, is a higher, better use of the FBI's time. Jim Comey also, too, on the topic of vetting, when that discussion was ongoing during the last campaign and prior to the end of the last administration, Comey conceded the FBI didn't have the resources to do the vetting for the Syrian refugees that President Obama wanted to bring into this country willy-nilly. Those are important conversations, too. That's an important job the FBI has. So fine with the Russian collusion investigation. Devote the resources you need. Go where the facts lead. Let's get it done, whatever the results turn out. And then let's move the FBI's resources to what I suspect are going to be higher, better uses. If the president said something like that, we wouldn't even be talking about it. But I agree with Paul Ryan. It was inappropriate the way that the president said that to the director of the FBI, demanding fealty or asking for fealty. And if demanding is probably too strong. But it's a political matter. It's not a legal one. I keep going back and back to this.
Well, and that keeps
it's a political matter.
Who invited who to that January 27th dinner? Because President Trump told Lester Holt Comey asked for it.
A dinner was arranged. I think he asked for the dinner. And he wanted to stay on as the FBI head.
Yeah, and James Comey said, no, he asked me to dinner.
Who
he was going to
cares?
bring his entire family, and he said, no, just bring yourself. And then when he got there, it was just the two of them in the green room or whatever room that is in the White House.
Can we try and bottom line this for and people when you're talking to your friends? Can you just get to the bottom line so it doesn't turn into this protracted soap opera?
It reads like a soap opera
Well,
script.
I understand because it's all of the detail. In his own prepared statement, he says 3 times that he told the president that he was not a target of the investigation.
How'd you like to have that conversation January 6th when he had to inform him of the unverified dossier that he slept with 4 hookers in Moscow, allegedly?
So we're back to the soap opera part.
Well, that's how it begins. Yeah. And then you're like, okay, but we know that's fake news, but you have to remind your liberal friends that that's exactly that. It's fake news. It was unverified.
Say it's true. And so, remember, this is an FBI investigation. That means it's a criminal investigation. And you had the FBI director tell the president 3 times, according to his own statement, in his own words, that he's not a target of the investigation. So there is no there with respect to the president, according to Jim Comey.
Well, as soon as he got out of that meeting, he sat even in the car. He didn't wait till he got back to the office and started on his computer writing copious notes about what had taken place, which is a joke because he met with President Obama twice and never took one memo.
Does it matter? Does any of that matter? He liked President Obama more than President Trump. He trusted President Obama more than President Trump. Fascinating. His personality interactions with his bosses is fascinating. Don't care. All I care about is what he does in terms of his job and the character he brings to that job. Oh, by the way, which is in question. 3 times he told the president, "You're not a target of our criminal investigation." The entire Democratic Party is betting their future existence on Trump being implicated in the criminal investigation. That's a big problem for them. And it's a big problem for this investigation and for Robert Mueller, the special counsel, to let this languish on in perpetuity, or at least without it being relegated to page 21B, rather than splashed all over the front pages and dominating the cable news channels for the next 2 years as Mueller, essentially goes after Flynn and maybe some other former Trump campaign flunkies. Would that potentially look bad for the president? Of course. Any part of the presidential administration or an ally or a former staffer goes down for a politician, it doesn't look good. But that doesn't mean it touches the president. Jim Comey is saying it doesn't. So where do you take that from here other than sawing sawdust, which is what the cable news channels were doing most of yesterday?
Well, what about the February 14th Oval Office meeting, where it was the day after Mike Flynn resigned? And everybody was in the office, Pence, Jared Kushner, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, and everyone got up to leave because he wanted to speak with him alone. And he asked him, he said, "I want to talk to you about Mike Flynn." And the president began by saying Flynn hasn't done anything wrong in speaking with the Russians, but he had to let him go because he had misled the vice president. So he's a good guy, and he's been through a lot. That's what Comey wrote. And I hope you can see your way clear to letting this go, to letting Flynn go. He's a good guy. I hope you can let this go. I replied only that he is a good guy. In fact, I had a positive experience dealing with Mike Flynn. And I did not say I would let this go. Is that obstruction of justice?
Are you serious?
That's.
I'll tell you what. I'm exhausted, so I'm going to turn my time over to Alan Dershowitz on that topic, who was on with Cuomo and company on CNN yesterday.
Well, first of all, let's look at the big constitutional picture. The president could have told Comey, "You are commanded, directed to drop the prosecution against Flynn." The president has the right to do that. Comey acknowledges that. He says in the statement that historically, presidents have done that to the Justice Department. But in the last few years, we've had a tradition of separation. But that tradition doesn't create crime. Remember also what the president could have done. He could have said to Comey, stop this investigation. I am now pardoning Flynn. That's what President Bush did. In the beginning of the investigation of Caspar Weinberger, which could have led back to the White House to the first President Bush, on the eve of the trial, pardoned Caspar Weinberger, pardoned 6 people, and Special Counsel Walsh said this is outrageous. He's stopping the investigation. Nobody talked about obstruction of justice. You cannot have obstruction of justice when the president exercises his constitutional authority to pardon, his constitutional authority to fire the director of the FBI, or his constitutional authority to tell the director of the FBI who to prosecute, who not to prosecute. So let's get out of the weeds and let's look at the big.
But then let me just ask you. Oh, he was on the Anderson Cooper. I get him confused. Any questions? He could have pardoned him. He could have directed him to drop the prosecution, and it still wouldn't have been obstruction. He would have been within his power. It wouldn't have been anything that rises to the level of criminality. You can say it's inappropriate. It's a political conversation, not a legal one. Jim in Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know, the minute Comey didn't come out right away about the president, it's over because it's he said and then he said. And for him to write this fake Bob Greene diary, he's just now he's basically what he does. He wrote his own script for today. He'll keep referring to the script he wrote, and that's it. And then he'll let the public opinion go at it. So now he's trying to distance himself from the whole thing just by writing this.
Yeah.
And you know what's ironic is everything they're accusing Trump of, Clinton already did. She's the one that did all this stuff, and he's the one that they're holding to a higher standard.
Thanks for the call, Jim. And I think your Bob Greene diary reference beats my Wiley E. Comey, so congratulations. Appreciate the call.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
A gorgeous day, mostly sunny, a high of 82 degrees. And tonight we're going to have a low of 63 with maybe a passing shower. That'd be nice. And then Friday, periods of clouds and sunshine, a shower or thunderstorm around, a high of 84. Let's go into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. We have early morning roadwork delays on westbound 8094. It's heavy from I-65 to Burr. Edens, Kennedy, Eisenhower still fine. Inbound Stevenson slow starting around Cicero. 38 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. But south of there, we still have roadwork delays. Weber to be 453. It's very heavy in that stretch with overnight roadwork still in the process of clearing. Ryan is 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
There's no feeling like grabbing a seat in a comfy chair to look through memories in a photo album. It's so much more enjoyable than looking at a computer or the small screen of a smartphone. An album of photos will last a lifetime. They can't be erased or become victim of a crashed hard drive. Print your photo memories at oneclickpics.com, your online photo center. Whether they're for an album, a gift, or framed for display, you want the very best quality. You can get that from the photo experts at oneclickpics.com. OneClickPics.com is a professional photo printer. You'll be amazed at the quality of your pictures, canvas prints, invitations, or announcements. You'll see details in your photos you've never seen before. And right now, when you buy 25 printed photo cards, you get 15 free. Use promo code 15FREE at checkout. Trust your digital picture memories to the photo technicians trained in every aspect of digital photo production. OneClickPics.com. OneClickPix.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll pick up our Comey discussion and offer a little bit more of what we heard yesterday from Rogers and Coates before the Senate at 5:38.
And taking your phone calls all morning long. 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. But now let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We have mostly clear skies 58 degrees in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. We're tracking breaking news in Ukraine this morning. Some sort of explosive device has been thrown at the U.S. Embassy in Kiev. No injuries reported, no immediate reports of damage. Police say an unidentified person tossed that device over the embassy fence just after midnight local time. Fired FBI Director James Comey is set to appear before a Senate committee hearing today to give what's been termed highly anticipated testimony. A transcript of Comey's opening statement was released yesterday. In that statement, Comey says the president urged him to, quote, lift the cloud, end quote, of the Russia investigation. Meantime, the president is set to give a speech at the same time that Comey testifies. President Donald Trump will speak at the luncheon hosted by the conservative Faith and Freedom Coalition. British voters heading to the polls later today, choosing the government that will lead them into the upcoming Brexit talks. Prime Minister Theresa May's Conservatives have lost much of a 20-point lead they had in the polls when the election was originally called, but they still enjoy a lead anywhere from 5 to 12 points over the Labour Party. The woman accused of leaking classified intelligence to the media, expected to plead not guilty. 25-year-old reality winner will be in court for a bond hearing today. Montana's new congressman apologizing for assaulting a reporter, and that apology has been accepted. Republican Greg Gianforte body slammed Guardian reporter Ben Jacobs a day before winning the election after Jacob barged into a room he was not supposed to go into. Gianforte has issued a written apology, taken responsibility, and made a $50,000 donation to the Committee to Protect Journalists. 8 are hurt, including 4 children, following an overnight 2-vehicle crash on Lakeshore Drive. Police say that accident happened just short of Balboa Avenue. All of the victims remain hospitalized. Authorities say no one is hurt after a convicted murderer held a nurse and a correctional officer hostage at a Joliet hospital. No one in custody after 2 teenage boys were shot and killed on Chicago's west side. Chicago police tell us 15-year-old Jaquez Mack, 16-year-old Corey Hill were shot yesterday morning by a masked gunman in the 1200 block of South Lawndale. And fiscal forecasters for the Illinois General Assembly are estimating the state's end-of-year budget deficit will top $6 billion. State Representative David McSweeney requested that review. The Barrington Hills Republican is urging GOP Governor Bruce Rauner to call daily legislative sessions until there is a budget resolution. Marlins over the Cubs 6-5. Rays beat the White Sox 3-1. The news, a service of Napa Auto Parts, this month at participating Napa stores. Valvoline full synthetic motor oil is on sale for just $5.59 a quart. Take advantage now and protect your engine from the heat all summer long. General States pricing. Sale prices do not include applicable state or local taxes or recycling fees. 5:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is fed up with the Trump bashers.
When I listen to people, colleagues of mine, he shouldn't tweet. You don't think he knows what he's doing? Well, but that's not protocol. Wait, he's not protocol. He's the proverbial bull in a china closet. It's who he is. My gosh, I'm so fed up with these haters. And the haters come in all political stripes.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Give Dad the perfect Father's Day gift and earn $25 in Cabela's Bucks when you spend $150 or more in-store. Shop in-store and online. You've heard about the Coin Show. Now you need to make plans to go. Find out what collectors and investors have known for years. It's fun, full of history, and it can be a great investment. Attend the Greater Chicago Coin, Currency, and Collectibles Show. It's one of the largest in the nation, and it's free. Get to the Tinley Park Convention Center Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, June 15th through the 17th. Admission and parking is free. Just bring your photo ID. Hundreds of dealers, the best coin dealers from all over the country. See displays valued at millions of dollars. U.S. gas and world paper money, gold and silver bullion, and a lot more. This is a show for the whole family, collectors, investors, or if you just want to find out more about coins, currency, and collectibles. This show is a can't miss. The Greater Chicago Coin, Currency, and Collectibles Show. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, June 15th through the 17th at the Tinley Park Convention Center. Admission and parking is free with your photo ID. Get more information at chicagocoinshow.com. That's chicagocoinshow.com. Don't you dare miss it.
5:35. Let's check the roads and in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We're all clear on the Edens right now. The Kennedy still delay-free. The reversibles are open inbound. On Eisenhower, getting a little bit heavy around 25th Avenue. 30 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound fine at 29. Northbound I-55, it's stop and go from Weber to Veterans Parkway. Overnight road work just cleared. And we see delays from Harlem to Kedzie, Ashland to the Rhine, and State to Lakeshore Drive. 40 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Outbound 34. On Ryan, 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 422. Tollways look good, 80-94 westbound is slow from I-65 to Burr. And traffic is a service of Geico Chicago. Hey, Chicago Geico now has even more ways to save you money. Your local Geico agent is ready to deliver personal service you need with the savings you love. Call 773-582-AUTO. That's 773-582-AUTO for your local Geico agent. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Mostly sunny and 82 today, 63 overnight. Clouds and sunshine with a shower or storm tomorrow, high 84. Currently 55 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella. Heard each and every Sunday at 8 a.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Taking your calls, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 646-368, turnkey.pro text line. Take your text as well. And talking about Jim Comey's prepared opening statement that was released yesterday and what it contains and what it portends and the questions that will be asked and what you want to know from Jim Comey and whether you think anything is relevant to the President of the United States or the things that you care about in this country. I just want to pick up on the loyalty thing for a second, because this is where you have a lot of focus. Again, this has
probably because it's on the first page.
Well, I'm talking about media focus.
Right, yes.
But, right, and they didn't get past the first page, is your point.
Yeah, or second page.
But this is something that has been previously reported, number one. Number two, an interesting little compare. Not so long ago, Bob Gates was on that Face the Nation show with John Dickerson. And he was asked about loyalty. Dickerson, and it was particularly as it pertained to this Comey report, because again, this is sawing sawdust. Dickerson asked him, in the reporting about the FBI director, there was a report the president asked him for loyalty. Help people understand the line between duty, loyalty, and personal conscience. Said Gates, I think in the context of senior government positions, I think an anecdote of what I told President-elect Obama when we had our first meeting. And I said, you don't know me. Can you trust me? Why do you think you can trust me? And so on. But at the end, I said, you can count on me to be loyal to you. I will not leak. I will keep my disagreements with you private. And if I cannot be loyal, I'll leave. Gates added, loyalty means doing what you think is in the best interest of that person as well as the country. And often that loyalty means telling them things they don't want to hear. It's not being sycophantic. It's not telling them how wonderful they are every day. It's being willing to tell them the days are not wonderful and when you think they're making a mistake.
Well,
now, that's a little bit of a different context because Gates was Secretary of Defense,
right,
not an FBI director. So he was he's a cabinet secretary for the president. He's not the head of the country's premier domestic law enforcement agency.
But in this 7-page memo that he released, it wasn't just what happened. It was how it made him feel. The president said, I need loyalty. I expect loyalty. I didn't move, speak, or change my facial expression in any way during the awkward silence that followed. We simply looked at each other in silence. The conversation then moved on, but he returned to the subject near the end of our dinner. At one point, I explained why it was so important that the FBI and the Department of Justice be independent of the White House. And he just said, I replied, that what I want is honest loyalty. Or no, he said that he said, I'll be honest. And he said, well, what I want is honest loyalty. And then I said, you'll get that from me.
Is that a passage from Comey's opening statement or 50 Shades of Grey?
Was there a candlelight dinner? I just
Our
want to know.
eyes locked. My facial expression remained unchanged. My heart was racing.
It's not, that was good. So, of course, the left sees this as, he's trying to twist he's trying to twist his arm. And I said, no, this is just, it might make you feel gross. You need to go take a shower after reading this. Somebody told me yesterday, but it's not illegal. I remember having a boss who I said, are you loyal to the company? Are you loyal to our cause? I said, yes, I am.
That's not the same thing.
Not the same thing.
Right. Your boss wasn't criminally investigating your regime.
Maybe you don't know what was going on.
Okay. Wall Street Journal opined on that sweaty little passage that you read. At worst, Mr. Comey's account of Mr. Trump reveals a willful and naive narcissist who believes he can charm or subtly intimidate the FBI director, but has no idea how Washington works. This is not new information.
Yeah, and Chris Christie yesterday, the big man, he said this is just how New Yorkers talk.
What people don't understand is that they elected an outsider president. Mm-hmm. They elected someone who had never been inside government and, quite frankly, didn't spend a lot of time interacting with government except at the local level. Mm-hmm. And so the idea of the tradition of these agencies is not something that he's ever been steeped in. So, I think over the course of time, and we could talk about different examples, what you're seeing is a president who is now very publicly learning about the way people react to what he considers to be normal New York City conversation.
Yeah, I understand that to some extent. Mm-hmm. It doesn't excuse the complete lack of precision with language in a sensitive context. Trump is intelligent enough to understand the importance of choosing his words carefully when you're talking about the FBI criminally investigating people around you. So, that's how New Yorkers talk only gets you so far, at least for me. Jordan in Forest Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, Dan and Amy. I think the more interesting thing will be how will Trump respond to questions about this testimony, the statement rather, saying, is this what you recall happened? And I think if he basically says, well, probably that's, it's not exactly the same. I think it goes away. But if Trump, in which he's done before, he fights back.
Right.
And if he fights back, now they're going to say it's going to linger and it's going to linger. I think that in this testimony, somebody ought to ask Comey, do you think it's proper for the FBI to investigate something where there's no evidence? Do you think that if somebody fabricates a story that you're obligated to investigate that, even if there's nothing there? And I think he's going to say, well, yeah, that's what we did in this case.
Okay, thanks for the call, Jordan. There's something else about that, what Jordan was getting to with Trump's reaction. Robert Costa over the Washington Post said yesterday that it was possible Trump was going to be his own war room and he was going to live tweet Comey's testimony.
No. He cannot have his smartphone today.
Can you imagine?
No. He can't do it.
Oh.
Because, and also, too, if a reporter asks him a question, just say, this is, I'm going to let the lawmakers handle this. And
he's
just not,
well, that's what he should do.
But he cannot help us. Remember last month about James Comey?
Did you at any time urge former FBI Director James Comey in any way, shape, or form to close or to back down the investigation into Michael Flynn? And also, as you look back...
No. Next question.
Well, that's not a problem.
Well, I don't. He asked him to lift the cloud. No. A cloud that was impairing his ability to act on behalf of the country. That was during a March 30th phone call.
Well, what is the topic? Are you saying that Trump shouldn't answer any questions about it, or that he answer that question inappropriately.
I just think he shouldn't take any. He's going to take questions on it, but I think that he should not comment at this time.
He should
let the investigation take its course. That's what you say.
His attorney has already said, his personal attorney has already said, basically Comey's statement vindicates him. He should let that stand, barring something of a bombshell quality that Comey offers today. He should let that stand, because the more he's talking about this, the opportunity cost he pays is on his domestic policy agenda, on the executive order and national security issues that directly relate to the homeland. And that's where he's going to make his bones as President of the United States or not. It's not going to be on winning the war of words with Jim Comey. He was a great president. Remember how he dissed Jim Comey. Remember how he made Jim Comey look bad. That's not the measure by the standard by which he's going to be measured. So I agree with you that he should let his attorney's words stand from yesterday and just pivot back to the things that actually impact the lives of American families who elected him and who want to see him advance the jobs agenda, reduce tax burdens, go after the regulatory state, get an Obamacare replaced on. Needs to kind of return focus here, and live tweeting or responding to everything that Jim Comey has to say is the wrong approach. Not to mention...
Well, they need to keep him busy today. He needs to go somewhere.
Well, not to mention, he already has... Look, you heard from Mike Rogers, NSA director, yesterday. I'll let his word stand. You heard from Dan Coates, DNI director.
In my time of service, which is in interacting with the President of the United States or anybody in his administration, I have never been pressured. I have never felt pressure to intervene or interfere in any way and shaping intelligence in a political way or in relationship to an ongoing investigation.
All I'd say, Director.
So, I mean, you know, they both made pretty unequivocal statements. I don't know where you take it from here. Now, that's not to say that there is not the war of words that the war of words won't continue. It will. That the demagoguery won't continue. It will, including from people that are credentialed, not just no justice, no peace, Maxine. Did you hear what Jim Clapper?
You mean clap on?
Clap off.
Clap on, clap off. The clapper.
Clap on, clap off. James Clapper.
Oh, excuse me.
He was before the press club in Australia, and he said this, comparing this investigation to Watergate. You ready for this?
Okay, I'm ready.
His subsequent actions, sharing a sense of intelligence with the Russians and compromising its source, reflect either ignorance or disrespect, and either is very problematic. Similarly, the whole episode with the firing of Jim Comey, a distinguished public servant, apart from the egregious, inexcusable manner in which it was conducted.
Clapper said, Watergate pales by comparison. Watergate pales by comparison. And again,
wow, does he remember what happened in Watergate?
I believe he does. I think he was in government at the time. He spent about half a century in government. Clapper, just because he has this kind of this demeanor that conveys authority and stability, doesn't mean that everything he says is true. We know that from his lying before Congress about the metadata collection, the collection of private Americans' communiques. Philip Mudd, who's a counterterrorism expert and a CNN contributor, reacted to Clapper's statement thusly.
What are we talking about here? Let me step back. In my world, I know former Director Clapper. He's served, I think, more than 50 years in government. He's very well respected in the intelligence community as a nonpartisan actor. That said, what the heck are we talking about here? In Watergate, we had a president resign. We know what happened was a criminal act, that is, beginning with the break-in of Democratic offices. We know there was a cover-up. There's been decades of coverage of that. We know there is wrongdoing up and down the administration of Richard Nixon. What do we know in this case? We don't know exactly what happened during the election, whether there's any collusion. The only thing we know for a fact in one circumstance is General Flynn made an ethical violation, lying to the vice president, that led him to be fired. That's not a legal violation. We don't understand what the cover-up is here. We have a president who's nowhere close, obviously, to resigning. That would be ridiculous, or being impeached. And we want to compare that to Watergate? The concern I have with former DNI Clapper is that going into this environment, he is undercutting his credibility by comparing this to Watergate. How do you look at someone with that kind of history and say, I can believe him?
Right. And what Philip Mudd is getting to is that this has the potential, if it continues with this level of hype and nothing to back up the hype, to not only lose the American public's interest to the extent they're interested at present, and number two, to boomerang on the left. And I'm going to enjoy it if that happens.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Yes, indeed, summertime. Another hot one. Wait, gonna be a little bit cooler today. Back to hot, gonna be windy. Maybe a thunderstorm mixed in for good measure. Up and down and up and down. The climate is always changing. Your company's heating and cooling system really gets a workout in Chicagoland. Be ready for anything this summer. Call Air Comfort and get your business's cooling system tuned up and running at peak performance. You see, the Air Comfort problem solvers can find small problems before they become big problems. Plus, proper maintenance will keep your system from wasting energy and money. Air Comfort will make sure your equipment is clean and obstacle-free. And if your chiller is about to or has stopped working, they can install temporary solutions to keep you cool while the long-term fixes are put in place. The key to keep your climate from changing is preventative maintenance, and Air Comfort can help. Schedule a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system today. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
Your kids won't be thinking about school very much this summer, but it's the perfect time for you to think about where you'll be sending your child back to school this fall. More and more parents are thinking about private school. Maybe that's you. Well, private school has never been more affordable thanks to halfpriceschools.com, where you can find tuition vouchers for private schools across Chicagoland available at half of the normal price. There's no catch. It's very simple. Find a school near you, purchase the tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. HalfPriceSchools.com has schools located all across Chicagoland, including schools in South Holland, Downers Grove, Antioch, Waukegan, Westchester, Bensonville, Kankakee, LaSalle, Peru, Aurora, Romeoville. Don't delay. Summer won't last forever, and school will be starting again before you know it. Visit HalfPriceSchools.com today. Many of these vouchers have already sold out, so don't wait. Visit HalfPriceSchools.com today. That's HalfPriceSchools.com.
Greta is a drill instructor.
On your feet and negotiate this obstacle.
Yes, ma'am. When it comes to training lean, mean, fighting machines, she doesn't mess around.
I do not have all day, people.
But in her free time, Greta's an amazing poet, and she knows it.
The green grass, it whispers to me like an ancient firefly.
Look at her throw those verses with confidence. But when it comes to getting a mortgage, Greta's less confident.
A little help here?
Fortunately for Greta, there's Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. It's simple, so she can understand the details and know she's getting the right mortgage.
My confidence. It's returned like a jealous lover on a rainy night.
Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Go to rocketmortgage.com today.
Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
When your company hires or promotes employees, human resource decisions are critical. Trusted by some of the most respected companies in America, local, veteran-owned and certified Global Verification Network is a background screening company dedicated to the expert delivery of screening services for employment, property rental, and business transactions. Custom compliance screening programs individually tailored for your unique needs. Visit globalverificationnetwork.com or call 877-695-1179.
Your company's information is mission critical to your operation. With the ever-increasing demand for IT talent, smart companies depend on Archer Staffing. For over 4 decades, Archer Staffing has provided custom solutions and the highest level of customer service. For contract IT, contract to hire, permanent hire, and recruitment process outsourcing, Archer Staffing is your IT solution. For information, call Archer Staffing 312-637-5082. or visit archerstaff.com.
Thinking of getting engaged to that special person in your life? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I've got the perfect place for you. Visit my friends at Roland's Jewelers, a family-owned jeweler in downtown Libertyville. Roland's Jewelers has a beautiful selection of engagement rings, and they're a direct diamond importer. That means wholesale prices on quality loose diamonds. Roland's is also the perfect place to shop for an anniversary or birthday gift. Roland's offers a large selection from designers like Hearts on Fire, Simon G., John Hardy, and Roberto Coin. Their knowledgeable and friendly staff can show you quality Switch watches like Tag Heuer, Michel, and Longines. Roland's Jewelers is well known for excellent customer service. These guys are the best, including custom designs and jewelry repairs by their expert craftsmen. Let Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville make all your special occasions memorable. Visit RolandsJewelers.com. It's ROLLANDS, RolandsJewelers.com, or call them 847-918-7300. Roland's, a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
What are you doing the 4th of July? Get to the Bolingbrook Golf Club Tuesday, July 4th, starting at 2 p.m. There's fun for the entire family and free admission. Check out live music and great food. Plenty of kids' activities and inflatables. Choose from over a dozen local restaurants and food trucks. Then the highlight of the 4th of July, a 30-minute fireworks show presented by the Village of Bolingbrook. Don't miss the 4th of July blowout at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. More info at bolingbrookgolfclub.com. Sponsored by COTG, Pepsi, Southern Glacier, and Miller Lite.
Searching for that black box is one of the most important aspects of aircraft accident investigation. But then, of course, you gotta have an airplane crash to investigate. I get it. Wait for the crash, investigate after. Sounds a bit late for all those on board. Sad to say, the same kind of black box approach is currently being used in our healthcare system today, which means nothing more than you feeling under the weather. Then we'll study the black box, x-rays, blood work, endless streams of diagnostic testing, uncover a terrible disease that may require a treatment plan that may prove even more deadly than the disease itself. This is Dr. David Kolbaba. I'm not into crash investigation. Here at HealthQuest, our passion is prevention. Spend more time, energy, and money on true preventative health care today, or you'll undoubtedly be spending more precious time, energy, and money later on some terrible sickness or disease. True prevention saves lives, one life at a time. How about you and your life? An ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of risky and dangerous medical care. Give us a call, 1-800-794-1855. That's 1-800-794-1855.
5:57. Let's get an update on the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Kennedy. Got a 2 or 3 minute delay now. The River Road toll to Harlem. It's fine outbound. Eden's clear. Eisenhower inbound delay start at Wolf. 41 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 29. Northbound I-55 heavy. Starting at Weber Road, it is an hour, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, 47 minutes from the Tri-State. Fine outbound. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to the Loop. I-57, 26 minutes. I-80 to the Merge, Bishop 423. Tollways are still fine. Traffic is a service of Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% on every purchase every day when you use your Lowe's Business Credit Account. That's 5% on all purchases in-store or online. Subject to credit approval, U.S. only. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center and our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A mostly sunny day, high 82. Partly cloudy night with a passing shower, low 62. Clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm tomorrow, high 83. And at night, patchy clouds, low 62. Mostly sunny and breezy Saturday, high 90. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
54 at O'Hare, 58 along the lakefront. The news service of Cabela's Father's Day. A day to say thanks to the most important guy in the world. This year, give him the perfect Father's Day gift and earn $25 in Cabela's bucks when you spend $150 or more in-store. Shop in-store and online. At 5:58 in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom, Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Here are the stories we're following this morning on AM 560, The Answer. Police in the Ukraine say some sort of device exploded at the U.S. Embassy in Kiev. Fired FBI Director James Comey set to appear before a Senate committee hearing today. Fox with the latest on those stories in just a moment. No one hurt after a convicted murderer holds a nurse and a correctional officer hostage at a Joliet hospital. An investigation continues after a baby's decomposed body was found in a shed in south suburban Dalton. The American Civil Liberties Union is warning Mayor Emanuel's plan to bypass the federal court in his pursuit of police reform will not do the job. Marlins avoid the 3-game sweep with a 6-5 win over the Cubs at Wrigley. White Sox and Rays meet in the rubber match of their 3-game series tonight at the Trop, and Bulls head coach Fred Hoiberg not taking the college basketball vacancy at Ohio State. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
Democrats are trying to liken this to Watergate. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
He fired Mr. Comey to have the investigation go away.
Senator Ron Wyden is on the Intel Committee that'll hear from fired FBI Director James Comey this morning. We already know his opening remarks. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Comey's prepared opening statement reveals the president told Comey he needed loyalty, that he asked him to go easy on former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, saying, according to Comey, "I hope you can see your way clear to letting this go, letting Flynn go." The statement, detailing a number of in-person and phone conversations, also shows that Comey did tell President Trump a number of times that he was not personally under investigation. The president's lawyer released a statement saying the president feels completely and totally vindicated. He is eager to continue to move forward with his agenda. Dave.
Rachel, reality winner goes to federal court in Georgia today. The NSA contractor charged with leaking classified info about Russian hacking attempts to the media. Her parents say she's not a flight risk and should be released before trial. They're voting in Britain.
Thank you very much, all of you, for coming here today.
Jeremy Corbyn, after casting his ballot, he's the Labour Party leader who's gained in the polls lately, challenging Prime Minister Theresa May as a debate over security following deadly terror attacks in London and Manchester have overshadowed talk of Brexit. North Korea is at it again.
North Korea firing several suspected cruise missiles. They flew about 120 miles, landing in waters where aircraft carriers USS Carl Vinson and USS Ronald Reagan maneuvered this week. South Korea saying the North may be trying to show off its strike capability. It's also a challenge to South Korea's new Liberal president, who says he wants talks with North Korea. In the Asia Bureau, Alistair Wanklin, Fox News.
4 bodies found inside a supermarket in Eaton Township, Pennsylvania after midnight. 2 men and 2 women. Police believe it is a murder-suicide. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Not even halfway through this first year in office, the political left and dinosaur media actually think they're going to impeach President Trump. Fake scandal after fake scandal dominate the headlines in the cable newsrooms, and not surprisingly, it's even causing establishment Republicans to get wobbly. Yeah, guess it didn't occur to them that making America great again was going to take some work. Sometimes work is hard. You know it, though, and so does the president. That's also why we're here. We never get wobbly. AM 560, The Answer.
Greta is a drill instructor.
Move, move, move!
Yes, ma'am. When it comes to training lean, mean, fighting machines, she doesn't mess around.
Robin, give me 3,000!
But when it comes to getting a mortgage, Greta's less confident.
I got nothing.
Fortunately for Greta, there's Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. It's simple, so she can understand the details and know she's getting the right mortgage. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Go to rocketmortgage.com today.
Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
The key to success? Keep it simple, especially when it comes to hiring. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Manage your candidates from one dashboard. According to an independent study, 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. New users claim your $50 credit to post a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Do you have trouble falling asleep and toss and turn all night? You need to try Sleep Answer, a new time-released sleep aid at GNC. Developed by an MIT sleep expert, Sleep Answer works with your body's natural sleep cycle, so you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up feeling great. Sleep Answer's dual-release capsule delivers the first dose of melatonin so you fall asleep fast, and the second dissolves over time so you sleep all night. Say goodbye to sleepless nights. Rise and shine with Sleep Answer. Ask for Sleep Answer at GNC. Only at GNC.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Radio Garden Sense, a show bringing your property's gardening needs alive. Radio Garden Sense, Sunday mornings at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy.
Yes, Dan.
Today's the day Jim Comey testifies, but
it is?
We're already discussing what he's had to say because of this 7-page opening statement that he released yesterday. And I'll tell you a couple of my takeaways, Amy.
Mm-hmm.
One is, per some of the passages that you flagged, I think he has a very bright future as a romance novelist. Because that one passage...
I know.
Where they're interacting.
The green room.
It was like I was in the green room with POTUS running my fingers through his coif. He really put me there.
Oh, I need
He's
loyalty.
not exactly Evelyn Waugh, but I mean, he's very, very good for, an attorney and the head of a law enforcement agency formerly. That's number one. Yeah. Number two, with respect to the reaction so far, as the hype machine is churning, overheating, I'd say, I've created a corollary to Godwin's Law.
Oh, really?
You know Godwin's Law? Godwin's Law is, as an online discussion grows longer, the probability of a comparison involving Hitler tends to 1.
Yes.
All right, so I've got
Oh, do you have one already?
Yeah, I got a corollary.
Oh, no.
I do.
It was such a romantic piece, too. No.
Well, I mean, I just corollary to Godwin's Law, though.
Yeah.
That is, as a politically driven criminal investigation grows longer without evidence, the probability of a Watergate comparison tends to 1. Because that's exactly what's happening. The Watergate comparisons as a substitute for evidence, as a substitute for the ability to point to a criminal statute under which you are investigating alleged or potential wrongdoing. And I'll tell you, Alan Dershowitz on with Gloria Vanderbilt's kid yesterday really put a fine point on it, as he did when we spoke with him last week. This is a political discussion, a discussion about political propriety, a leadership quality, maybe. It is not a criminal discussion, at least as it relates to President Trump. Dershowitz.
Well, first of all, let's look at the big constitutional picture. The president could have told Comey, you are commanded, directed to drop the prosecution against Flynn. The president has the right to do that. Comey acknowledges that. He says in the statement that historically, presidents have done that to the Justice Department. But in the last few years, we've had a tradition of separation. But that tradition doesn't create crime. Remember also what the president could have done. He could have said to Comey, stop this investigation. I am now pardoning Flynn. That's what President Bush did. In the beginning of the investigation of Caspar Weinberger, which could have led back to the White House to the first President Bush on the eve of the trial pardoned Caspar Weinberger, pardoned 6 people, and Special Counsel Walsh said this is outrageous. He's stopping the investigation. Nobody talked about obstruction of justice. You cannot have obstruction of justice when the president exercises his constitutional authority to pardon, his constitutional authority to fire the director of the FBI, or his constitutional authority to tell the director of the FBI who to prosecute, who not to prosecute. So let's get out of the weeds and let's look at the big
But then let me just ask you.
That's that buttons it up pretty nicely, Counselor. Thank you, Professor Dershowitz. One other point that's the real takeaway, the bottom line takeaway from his opening statement for me, which is that he confirmed that on at least 3 occasions he told President Trump he was not a personal target of the Russian probe.
Right, but President Trump, especially, he met with him 3 times, talked to him on the phone 6 times. But on an April 11th phone call, he asked him to, get out there so that the public knows that he's not under investigation personally.
Well, that's right, and that is
because of that dossier, which was fake news with the Russian hookers.
Well, but also just even the fact that he is not a target of the probe. Forget the dossier. And the Wall Street Journal raises this issue as well in their editorial today. Mr. Comey said he wouldn't make that public statement because it would create a duty to correct if Trump were implicated. And the Journal responds saying, well, that's odd because the real obligation is to keep quiet until an investigation is complete. So this is the problem with Comey. He's a political animal.
Well, no, he's a PR guy. He's just trying to save face and save his character by releasing this, the day before his big testimony.
But let's look at what he does to just fill in the blanks with that characterization. And I agree with that characterization. I'm not going to say this because it would present a duty to correct, but I will say this.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, he's trying to persuade the public that he's a good guy. He follows the standards. He's all about the Constitution. But then he inserts himself to try and save character. You can't play it both ways.
Yeah, Jim, I tell you.
I want to read more of this passages, though, this romance novel.
Yeah, it is, really. I mean,
can we start with the candlelight dinner?
What was the, I didn't read it, but.
Well, in the green room?
No.
The dinner?
50 Shades of Grey. It was Sebastian, and what was the female? I mean,
Don Johnson's daughter, that's all I know.
We're going to have to requisition a copy of 50 Shades of Grey and bump that up against Comey's opening statement and see which is steamier.
Well, when the president asked him, he said, I need loyalty. I expect loyalty. I didn't move, speak, or change my facial expressions in any way during the awkward silence that followed.
And then he touched me.
We simply looked at each other in silence. My heart was racing. I made that up. I explained why it's so important that the FBI and the Department of Justice be independent of the White House.
Then he threw his hair over his shoulder
and flipped the table over and ran to me.
I said, Jim, can't we work something out? Sharon and Itasca, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. Well, I'm just a really frustrated conservatarian because I certainly don't feel like I've gotten my so-called ballot worth with the do-nothing Republican Congress. Trump has been doing all the heavy lifting, and the only thing that might carry them through for 2018 is this bumbling that the Democrats are engaging in with trying to invent a crime where none exists with the former director of the FBI and the president, and they're just coming up with fairy tales, whatever they could come up with. The Republicans have been more than recalcitrant, as far as I'm concerned, in backing President Trump's agenda. We, the American public, we, the voter who put these Republicans in, deserve a heck of a lot more respect, and we never get it. I'm a small businesswoman. I'm waiting for tax reform, and I'm waiting for the nulling and voiding of Obamacare. And, Dan, none of these people deserve to be reelected. It's very frustrating to be a conservative in Illinois. That's my comment.
Thanks for the call, Sharon. Well, this is why President Trump, with the denying or tangerine Jesus as a target 3 times, is sort of biblical there, needs to pivot and get back to policy discussions that directly impact the quality of lives for Americans.
But one more thing about Comey. If he thought that this was so, brazenly inappropriate or however he wants to classify it, why didn't he confront President Trump and just say, look, you know what? I'm honest to the Constitution. This is inappropriate for us to be having this conversation. And then just end it there.
Because he's playing.
Just put your foot down.
He wants to be FBI director. He's playing the game. He doesn't want to be unnecessarily antagonistic to the president. So this is why he has the conversation with Sessions about being in the meeting with us when I meet with the president, because I report to you. It's just the whole point of this. No matter which way you turn, no matter which passage you pull out of his opening statement, it's politics. That's what this is, at least as it pertains to President Trump. From everything we know and everything that the FBI director has said. Politics.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
Here is Trump's personal lawyer released a statement yesterday.
Yeah, both sides are claiming victory. So
Mark Kasowitz saying the president is pleased that Comey finally publicly confirmed his private reports that the president was not under investigation and any Russian probe. He is eager to continue to move forward with his agenda. Right. That statement should be like on a laminated card in Trump's breast pocket so he can refer to it. Oh, right. I need to move on with my agenda. It doesn't matter what Comey says. I'm not interested in his reputation management. I'm not going to try and undermine his reputation any more than I have or he has. I'm just going to let it be and return to all of the big things that I need to move on per the comment from Sharon and Itasca. David in Lake Forest, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning. Everybody knows that D.C. has become a dysfunctional
circus. And Jim Comey should know that better than anybody else. But yet, what does he do on Tuesday, 2 days before his testimony? He wants to leak and put out his testimony out there. Why? To add to the dysfunction. You know, he's throwing more chum for the Sharks to feed on. Why? He loses whatever credibility he did have before this. It has to be gone now by the leaking of his prepared testimony. And where are the people out there saying that? I don't hear anybody saying that.
Yeah, thanks for the call, David. I mean, it's just
Well, it's kind of obvious.
It's just messaging management.
Well,
and
this could be his script for today. You know, go by the script and quote the script.
Well, what does it also do? It blunts the big story yesterday, Trump naming Christopher Wray as his choice for the next FBI director, in addition to the testimony from both NSA Director Rogers as well as DNI Coates. Both of them said the upshot, no, nobody's ever pressured me to do anything. Nobody's ever tried to get me to do anything wrong.
And that's exactly opposite of what CNN was saying was going to happen.
Well,
they said that they were going to come out and no, I mean, more fake news. They said that they were going to come out and say that Trump had tried to persuade Comey to lift the cloud or the investigation over General Flynn.
Their political disposition and general ideology blinds them to logic and evidence, and ultimately it makes them look bad.
What happened to the facts?
Mike on the north side.
Good morning, kids. Thanks for taking my call. I think Comey and Clapper ought to get their own TV show on CNN and call it Crybabies in Cars Getting Coffee. Because all they're doing is crying and whining. This is a cottage industry now, bash Trump. Because if they don't have that one thing to say, bash Trump, it's like the old uncle with only one joke to tell, pull my finger, then you lose your credibility. The conversation returns to, what did you do while you were in office? Look at all these terrorist attacks. You didn't do your job. You should be criminally liable for this. So instead, they keep doing this. They keep bashing him like a bunch of whiners. Hillary lost the election. Every team loses a championship. Get over it. Get on with your life. Move on to your next chapter. Go open up a coffee shop in Seattle. Go open up an art studio in New Mexico, something. We don't want to hear from you. See ya. We don't want to be you.
Thanks for the call, Mike, and the
I love him. Public service announcement?
Yeah.
Or the idea for a new show on
Mike's
CNN.
colloquialisms, a little insight into his family with the uncle with the pull my finger joke.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that uncle.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up next.
Anastasia. It was Sebastian
yeah.
and Anastasia. Thank you, Patty O on Twitter. Anastasia. I'll play Anastasia. You play Sebastian. We'll do a reprisal of 50 Shades of Grey. And then we'll do a reprisal of Jim Comey and Donald Trump.
Right.
Per Jim Comey.
Hey, a newly elected congressman from Montana offers an apology and some cash. That's up next. And also, during this weather forecast, I'd like to thank Captain Ron Barber from the Chicago Fire Department and firefighter Lucas for being so nice to the kids yesterday. We visited them on a field trip there at the station in Chinatown. So thanks so much. Today, mostly sunny, a high of 82 degrees, and tonight a low of 63 with a possible passing shower. That would be nice. And then Friday, we're going to have some clouds and sunshine with a possibility of a shower or thunderstorm, a high of 84. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. And if you're headed to Chinatown via I-55, you want to get off at Cermak, if not before, because of the ongoing road work there at Lakeshore Drive, and that's causing delays again this morning. Actually, the northbound I-55 delay started Weber Road, and it's slow in pockets between Lamont Road and Kedzie, and then from Ashland most of the way to Lakeshore Drive with that road work. Looking at an hour and 3 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive already. 49 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound, it's clear. The Edens is still fine. The Kennedy, 23 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound, 22. Inbound Eisenhower, delay start at Wolf, 45 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound, 31. Ryan is 25 minutes from 95th to the Loop. I-57, 27 minutes. I-80 to the Merge. Bishop 423. 80-94 westbound, it's slow. I-65 to Burr and northbound I-65. Stop and go from Ridge Road to 8094. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, Pearl Mortgage and the vice president of lending is David Hochberg. And realtors, David wants to eliminate the stress that you experience during the loan approval stress by approving all of your buyers before you begin showing them homes. You heard me. David will approve your buyers for a mortgage before you begin showing them homes, so you know exactly what your buyers can afford. More importantly, with a Team Hochberg loan approval, your buyer's offer will stand out to sellers and sellers' realtors because you'll be able to close within 10 days of signing a purchase contract. You heard me. You'll be able to close within 10 days of the purchase contract signing. So if you want to maximize your time and sell homes faster, your buyers need to secure a loan approval from David's team of purchase mortgage experts. Call David now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. David helped me and thousands of AM560 listeners, but guess what? He can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Are you facing foreclosure, been foreclosed upon, in a bad modification, or just stuck in a bad mortgage? Well, we may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. We defend foreclosure actions. We bring claims against the banks and the servicers for wrongful foreclosure and other violations of mortgage servicing regulations. And we help people negotiate modifications of their existing mortgages, often including principal reductions. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, and advice regarding your options.
Hi, this is Rayanne from Lou Bridges & Associates. I am one of the loan modification processors here, and if you are in need of any additional information in regard to a loan modification, please contact the office.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
AM 560, The Answer. When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
T-minus 1 hour, 37 minutes and 30 seconds, 29, 28, 27. CNN's countdown clock to Comey's testimony. Taking your calls, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line all morning on what Comey's already released and
we should,
what that suggests for what he'll have to say today.
And we should also mention that Mike Gallagher, who comes on right after us, he will be taking most of James Comey testimony live during the show. So keep it here on AM 560, The Answer.
All right.
My programming note, okay, Dan?
Very good.
Company girl.
Mike Gallagher appreciates you. Parker and Crystal Lake, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. I think a lot of the problem with this stuff is that the media, I scroll through Facebook and social media all the time, and all I see is these kids reposting stuff that are these giant headlines, and they're not looking at the source. They're not reading the actual material, so they're getting falsified by the media, and a lot of it is, about Trump, and he hasn't done anything, or all, whatever it may be. It's a lot of these kids want now, and the media is not helping with that because they're, posting stuff that's either false or just clickbait, and it's not helping put out information that's true.
Yeah, I think that's right. Thanks for the call, Parker. I think it's looking at the headline, not reading the story. I think it's sensationalized headlines, and I'm talking about the New York Times, not even the tabloids. There's a good piece in U.S. News and World Report, actually, by Peter Roth, the Comey hype machine, that speaks to this. I think there's also the cherry picking of information that you choose to report versus information you don't choose to report. So that's not fake news, but it's certainly stilted news. And the lack of challenging things that you hope are true, even if there's no evidence to support the contention they're true. And so you've got shoddy journalism. And you've got people that are balkanized, and they are only interested in hearing what they're, hearing reinforcement of their views. And so you get kind of two things. One is a particularly polarized nation. Two is a particularly ill-informed nation. And three, I guess the result of both of those things, a real depredation of the quality of conversation of a political and civic nature in America.
What do you make of their last phone call conversation, which happened April 11th? Said on the morning of April 11th, the president
a pterodactyl,
called me.
Brooch.
No, he said he called me and asked what I had done about his request that I get out, quote unquote, that he is not personally under investigation. I replied that I had passed the request to the acting deputy attorney general, but I had not heard back. He replied that the cloud, also in quotes, was getting in the way of his ability to do his job. He said that he perhaps would have his people reach out to the acting deputy attorney general, said that was the way his request should be handled. He said that he would do that and added, quote, this is what Trump said to Comey, because I've been very loyal to you, very loyal. We had that thing, I did not reply.
Oh, this is where it goes all 50 Shades of Gray again.
I did not reply or ask him what he meant by that thing. I said only
that thing. Don't tell me you don't know that thing.
Oh, no, you didn't.
We shared that thing. You said that thing meant something to you.
I said only that the way to handle it was to have the White House counsel call the acting deputy attorney general. He said that was what he would do, and the call ended. That was the last time I spoke with President Trump. Fade to black.
Oh. Boy. That was a roller coaster.
I'm
exhausted. I'm emotionally spent after listening to Jim Comey went through.
Oh.
Wow.
I feel a little emotionally drained myself. I'm a little sad. That's the end of their relationship.
It was a torrid romance. It was just.
You think they'll get back together, Dan?
You know what happened?
What?
The relationship started too hot. It was so intense. It could only burn out.
It wasn't you. It was me.
Oh, man. Staying power. It's tough. But they had
that night in the green room.
That thing. They had that thing. And you know what? The nice thing about this is no matter what happens for the rest of their lives, they're always going to have that thing.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Here's a celebration not to miss. I encourage you to join my friend Matt Podgorski and the Northwest Side GOP Club as they celebrate President Trump's 71st birthday, which is also Flag Day, and Make America Great Again night on Wednesday, June 14th. If you're a member, it's free. Non-members pay only $10, and snowflakes pay $20. There will be appetizers and a cash bar. The party starts at 5, so stop by after work. There will be a 50-50 raffle, silent auction, giveaways, and Todd and the 10 Pins will perform. With all that's going on in Chicago, the Northwest Side GOP Club's mission is to inspire thought and action to set things right in Chicago, politically, fiscally, socially, and culturally. President Trump's birthday is Wednesday, June 14th, and Chicago is celebrating at Revel Bar at 6169 Northwest Highway. For more information, visit northwestsidegop.com. That's nwsgop.com. And I encourage you to consider becoming a member of the Northwest Side GOP Club as well. It's only $35 a year. For more information, visit nwsgop.com and like NWS GOP on Facebook.
Attention. Do you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS?
I owe the IRS $37,000.
I owed roughly $19,000.
Call Civic Tax Relief to see if you qualify to have your past due taxes forgiven.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
I spoke to one of their tax professionals, Tyler. He walked me through the process and gave me some hope that they're able to help me with my situation.
Civic Tax Relief wants to give you free information on all the ways they can help.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
They were able to reduce my debt, and getting that refund of $250 put a smile on my face. So I would highly recommend them to a friend, a family.
Call Civic Tax Relief now for your free tax relief information. 800-601-7780. 800-601-7780. Don't wait. Call now. 800-601-7780. 800-601-7780.
AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, yeah. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We got a treat. This individual is really making the case for intellectual freedom on college campuses. He's Jordan Peterson, a University of Toronto psychology professor who we've spoken about on the show. But at 6:36, we get to speak to him. So you want to stay tuned for that.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 58 degrees in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom, Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Police in the Ukraine say some sort of explosive device was thrown over the fence at the U.S. Embassy in Kiev. No injuries reported. Fired FBI Director James Comey is set to appear before a Senate committee hearing today to give what's being called highly anticipated testimony. Top U.S. intelligence officials, including Director of National Intelligence Dan Coats, say they have never felt pressured to intervene in the ongoing Russia investigation.
I do not feel it's appropriate for me to address that in a public session.
In a Senate hearing yesterday, Coats and NSA Chief Mike Rogers declined to answer specific questions about reporting that the president may have asked them to intervene in the FBI's Russia investigation. Meantime, the president himself will give a speech today, at the same time that James Comey is testifying before the Senate. Meantime, yesterday, the president says Americans deserve the best infrastructure in the world.
It's time to rebuild our country, to bring back our jobs, to restore our dreams, and yes, it's time finally to put America first.
Speaking in Cincinnati yesterday, Trump making a pitch to renovate the nation's inland waterways. British voters heading to the polls right now, choosing the government that will lead them into the upcoming Brexit talks. Prime Minister Theresa May lost much of a 20-point lead, but still has a lead over Labour by anywhere from 5 to 10 points. The woman accused of leaking classified information to the media expected to plead not guilty. 25-year-old reality winner will be in court today for a bond hearing. Authorities say no one is hurt after a convicted murderer held a nurse and a correctional officer hostage at a Joliet hospital. Police say they took Joshua Matthews into custody less than 1 hour after the incident. No one in custody after two teen boys were killed in a shooting on Chicago's west side. Teens died after being shot at a nearby hospital. An investigation is underway after a baby's decomposed body was found in a shed in south suburban Dalton. Child discovered in a plastic bag yesterday by the homeowner who smelled odors near 157th and Drexel. Marlins avoid the three-game sweep with a 6-5 win over the Cubs at Wrigley. Tampa Bay a winner over the White Sox, 3-1. The news a service of Cabela's. Father's Day, a day to say thanks to the most important guy in the world. This year, give him the perfect Father's Day gift and earn $25 in Cabela's bucks when you spend $150 or more in-store. Shop online or in-store at Cabela's. 6:33. Time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Dennis Prager Show.
Dennis doesn't believe America's resilient. And he's right, I don't. I do not believe it is resilient enough to withstand what Europe could not withstand. the takeover by the left in terms of values, economy, politics, and everything else that comes with leftism. It's like the blob. It takes over. It just takes over.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Give Dad the perfect Father's Day gift and earn $25 in Cabela's Bucks when you spend $150 or more in-store. Shop in-store and online.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
6:35, let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. On the Edens inbound, traffic is heavy from Niles Center Road to the junction. 23 minutes is the travel time from Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound fine at 19. The Spur is heavy eastbound now, past Waukegan Road. Inbound Kennedy, 31 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 13 from Montrose, 10 on the Express. Outbound 27 minutes downtown to the airport. Inbound Eisenhower, 53 minutes Thorndale to downtown, 40 from Manheim, outbound 30 to Thorndale. Northbound I-55 delays start at Weber Road, and it is an hour and 6 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 53 minutes from the Tri-State, outbound 40 minutes to 355. The Ryan is 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 27 minutes I-80 to the merge. Lakeshore Drive's good, northbound Tri-State, slow 95th to 75th. Plainfield Road to 47th. Then from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve, Reagan Tollway heavy, 22nd to the Eisenhower, 8094 slow westbound I-65 to Burr, and northbound 65 is slow Ridge to 8094. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Sunny and 82 today. Partly cloudy with a passing shower, low 63. Currently 55. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, I'm excited to speak with our next guest. We have spoken a lot about him as he has really been towards the tip of the spear, if not right at it, in terms of advocating for free minds and free expression and true academic scholarship on college campuses. Most recently, and we covered this talk in some detail, he gave about an hour and a half interview at Harvard, where he used to teach, and he offered observations that I think are particularly relevant as we think about the discussion we've been having this week about what was going on at Evergreen State University's campus in Olympia, Washington, where the students took over the campus. They have a list of demands. The response from the president of the university is to tell the campus police to stand down.
Yeah, and now they're walking around with baseball bats and policing themselves.
Right, and the campus police to stand down. The campus police that were responding to a professor who's was threatened with violence, Brett Weinstein, a liberal, leftist, but not left enough. And the response from the faculty has been to write a letter of solidarity with the students blowing the conch shell at the quad.
And they're busy building a quality building, right? Or
Well, that's one of their demands.
One of the demands.
In addition to full-time LGBT diversity, all that. So Jordan Peterson, University of Toronto psychology professor, on the idea of turning over college campuses to 19-year-olds.
First of all, if you're 19 or 20 or 21, you don't bloody well know anything. You haven't done anything. You don't know anything about history. You haven't read anything. You haven't supported yourself for any length of time. You've been entirely dependent on your state and on your family for the brief few years of your existence, and the idea that you have enough wisdom to determine how society should be reconstructed when you're sitting in the absolute lap of luxury protected by processes that you don't understand is absolutely, I mean, it's... Okay, so that's let's call that a bad idea, shall we?
Yeah, I think we shall. And we're pleased to be joined by Professor Jordan Peterson. Now, Professor Peterson, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it. Professor Peterson, do we have you? Hello.
His name's on the board.
Are we having a technical difficulty here?
I think so.
Do we have him or no? All right, let me put Professor Peterson on hold and see if we can effort him.
But I think anybody that's sending their kid to college should listen to Jordan Peterson before they head off.
Well, he has also been somebody, it's not just giving a comfortable talk in the context of an interview at Harvard where he was well received with maybe some protesters outside. Of course, we covered when he was at McMaster University in Ontario, and he was shouted down.
Oh, that's right.
Right. He was not allowed to speak, and he just sat. It was really interesting. If you haven't seen that episode, you go and look online, YouTube, Jordan Peterson, McMaster University, and you'll see him just sitting there calmly while people drum circle profanity in his direction and hold up signs with a hammer and a sickle on it. It's really an incredible thing, and he just tries to let it subside so he can share his point of view on some of those things, respond to their criticisms on some of those things, but to no avail. Let's see if we've got him this time. Professor Peterson, are you with us?
I hope so.
Oh, great. Thank you. Sorry about our technical snafu there.
Well, that's life.
It's a pleasure to speak with you, and I was just playing a bite from your talk at Harvard recently, and I wonder if how you would you would apply some of the things you mentioned at Harvard to what we've seen, the latest, greatest example of dismal conduct on college campuses from the students through the professorate to the administrators is Evergreen State University.
Well, it looks to me like the administrators at Evergreen State have no idea how to exercise authority. And they've lost their moral authority in the most profound sense. I mean, the students who are behaving, there are students there who are behaving in a manner that should clearly get them expelled. Mm-hmm. But no one, as far as I can tell, has enough wherewithal or moral fortitude or certainty about the ground that they occupy to say, look, this isn't how this discussion is going to proceed. First of all, when we've seen this a lot on campuses over the last, well, I guess since the 1960s, really, when you're presented with a list of demands from students, the first thing you do is tell them is that I'm not talking to you when you start with demands. How about suggestions? How about polite suggestions? Or even better, carefully thought through polite suggestions, delivered with a certain degree of respect. That's the starting place. Demands, it's like, no, we're not even having the conversation at that point. And to let the students take over the enterprise, well, you only do that, I think, it's indicative of a very, very deep corruption in the higher education system. I think some of it might be worse in the U.S. than it is in Canada because students, I think, in the States are treated more as if they're customers than they are in Canada. Believe me, I'm not trying to blow a horn for being Canadian. We've got enough of our own problems at the moment.
Right.
But I do think that there's a real confusion in the universities about just exactly what a student is. Like, is a student a consumer? And if a student's a consumer, then well, they can pretty much do whatever they want because the customer is always right.
But the customer is right.
That's how it looks. That's part of what's going on.
Well, Dr. Everett Piper, who's the president of Oklahoma Wesleyan University, says in addition to there being some confusion about what a student is, there's a real confusion about what a university is.
Well, yes, the universities, I think the universities are showing all the signs of, the old saying that too big to fail, which is of course an absolutely unbelievable statement. That one came out of the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis, and it's completely backwards, right? So big you have to fail. That's the situation, and it was the situation with plenty of business enterprises in 2008. And I really do think it's the situation with universities right now. There's so many things that are not being done right that I think they might be unsolvably corrupt. They're too expensive by a huge margin. They entice students into indentured servitude because, of course, if you take out a student loan, and again, this is primarily an American issue, you can't even declare bankruptcy on a student loan. It's like, what in the world is up with that? The massive accumulation of student loan is crippling people right at the time when they should be most entrepreneurial and risk-taking. The degrees aren't worth, especially in the humanities, the degrees don't have any economic value anymore, and they have almost no practical value, because the practical value of a humanities degree was that the person who held it was literate. And we've even forgotten that that's useful. I mean, the students don't even know that that's what they're in university for anymore, because I tell them now and then, and they're so shocked. They think, this happened at Harvard. At the end of the very talk that you just described, I spent about 5 minutes telling students what they were doing there, which was learning to think, learning to write, and learning to speak. And then I said, well, the reason that you're doing that is because if you can think and write and speak, then you have confidence and the possibility of authority in virtually any domain. And it was as if the students never heard anything like that before. And it just makes my jaw drop, because it's so obvious that teaching people, young people, true facility with language is in their best interest and in the best interest of society. And that's become some sort of forgotten doctrine. So that's another problem. And then there's way too many people in higher education. That's a problem, I would say, at places, especially like Evergreen, which I think has a 98% acceptance rate, and maybe they're desperate for students. And the doctrines that are being taught, the postmodernist, modernist, and neo-Marxist doctrines are they're not only shallow and empty, they're pretentious, and they're truly dangerous and resentful. And so I think the universities, man, there's so many things that are wrong with them that I don't think they can probably be fixed. I think they're probably going to be replaced.
Well, Dr. Peterson, if we look back at Evergreen State right now, you've got a bunch of vigilantes walking around with baseball bats thinking that they're tough. I mean, do you think the Washington National Guard should come in and let them know who's the boss, who's in charge?
Well, I can't say that, because I would have to analyze the situation in detail to really think about what the next practical steps would be. I'm a behavioral psychologist and a practicing behavioral psychologist, and one of the things that we're taught to do is to take the specifics of a problem and to analyze them very specifically, and then to implement a incremental plan to deal with the issue. But certainly there's a set of students who are seriously misbehaving, and the university needs to have a policy on that, and then to figure out what to do with those students. Now, this is a very casual suggestion, but the first thing I would do, I think, is I would identify the main ringleaders, and I'd send them a letter saying, look, you are now on serious academic probation, and unless you can come up with a rationale at the hearing determining your suitability for continued enrollment, the probability that you're going to be expelled is extraordinarily high.
I want
to, if that was happening to 30 students thereabouts, it would shut the whole thing down almost immediately. But the administration doesn't know what it is in relationship to the students, and so it can't act. That's how it looks to me.
I want to pick up on something you said about the university teaching kids to think, exposing them to the great works across discipline. Study from that was published by the Wall Street Journal earlier this week, to your point, finds that per CLA plus testing over the last 3 years of college students, that the college students' abilities to think, reason, assess an argument, make an argument, analyze a table show no improvement from freshman to senior year virtually.
Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, at the University of Toronto, it's a good university, and the kids who come here are smart. And it's a pretty conservative university, I might say. I find by the fourth year, so I have students in my fourth year seminar, and they're smart kids, man, and they've worked hard, and they cannot write. They cannot write. And what's even worse than that, because I teach them, what I have them do in my seminar, it's a small seminar, is they first write me a 4-page paper, and then I shred the hell out of it, and then they rewrite it to 6 pages, and I do the same thing, and then they rewrite it to 8 pages. And so they really go through the full process of trying to produce something that goes through multiple edits and that is supposed to end up with, with a culminating product that's at least credibly literate. And the essays to begin with are so bad that it's literally painful emotionally to grade them. The words aren't right. The sentences are written improperly. They're not organized properly within a paragraph. The paragraphs aren't sequenced properly, and the essay doesn't cohere. So every single level of writing, it's not just bad; it's appalling.
Well, I'll tell you,
pretty bad.
Secretary.
Wait, hang on. Just
I'm
one
sorry.
more
Go
step.
ahead. Sure.
By the end of 4 months, which isn't very long, these bloody students know how to write.
Good.
And that's the thing that's so awful, because they're smart and they're motivated, but they've gone through 16 years of education, and no one ever taught them to write, and yet it can be done in 3 months.
Well,
it's really appalling.
So here's the thing. Condi Rice, former Secretary of State, teaching at Stanford now. I saw her give a talk a couple years ago. She said the exact same thing you said about your students at Stanford, one of the best universities in the country. So here's the issue, and it relates back to something you said. If the colleges are not salvageable because there's not enough Jordan Petersons and not enough Condi Rices and others that are committed to the humanities from the perspective of teaching people how to reason and think and write and access the great works and so forth, then you said they might have to be replaced. What would replace them?
Oh, well, there's no reason to not move the humanities education, online, at least with regards to content. I think, it's as if the universities have this tremendously valuable intellectual property, which, let's say, is the classical humanities, and they've decided to abandon it so anybody can come in and take it over. And that's exactly what I think should happen online. I mean, I've been struck by, I have a lot of lectures online, and I've been absolutely struck by the fact of their popularity, which I can't believe. But what's so interesting about it is that, and these aren't lectures that I've done for political reasons, they're hard, they're difficult, content-rich lectures, and people from all over the world are watching them like mad. And so it seems to me there's a couple of problems that have to be solved with an online university. One is accreditation, although I don't think that's insoluble. And the other is the technical process of teaching people how to write, because that's hard. But that is also not insoluble. Like, I produced this document, which people could get at my website, jordanbpeterson.com. It's in my Psych 430 class syllabus. It's a little document that tells people how to write, and runs them through the process of generating an argument and then editing it. And right now I'm working with my colleagues to put that online and to produce a technology that will enable people to improve the quality of their writing while they're writing, instead of having to wait for someone to do the editing. And so the distribution of classic humanities education online is, I think it's the next proper solution, and I'm starting to work on that with a variety of people. I'm quite excited about that. So, because look, the professors who are pushing this postmodernist pathology. It's like a cult. And it truly is like a cult. They're going to occupy the positions they're in for the next 30 years. They're not movable, and they're hiring more and more people who think the same way they do. So I just can't see how that can be rectified. But since the university system, particularly in the humanities, no longer delivers what it promises to deliver, it's already dead. And why revive it? Why not just move laterally and replace it? I mean, the new technologies like YouTube, the fact that YouTube enables a lecture to be published, let's say, with the same permanency and reach as a book, or maybe far more reach than a book, means that the field of actually educating people is now wide open. You can just do it. Okay, well, so maybe that's good enough. But adding accreditation and also figuring out how to teach people to write, if those two problems were solved, then we could have an open online university that would be accessible to everyone in the world at 1/100th of the cost, and that would be the end of that. And people who would enroll would be the ones who actually wanted to learn, who are the ones that are watching the lectures right now anyways.
Well,
so it seems to me to be a perfect solution.
If you're excited about that prospect, then I'm excited about that prospect, and we'll be watching your work and the work of those who are like-minded in academia. Jordan Peterson, psychology professor at the University of Toronto, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Paul Ryan once again making it known he's part of the Washington swamp. New unemployment numbers today. Uber taking action to fix its image as the ride-sharing leader. Those stories next.
Ever since the 70s, Americans from every socioeconomic strata have been held hostage by imaginary energy shortages. Think I'm exaggerating? Just Google oil embargo and you'll see pictures of lines of cars miles long waiting to get gas. But that's all about to end. There's a new compound that could be about to turn the fuel and automotive industries on their ear. And it's one of those investment opportunities that comes along once in a generation. Companies like Ford, Chrysler, Honda, GM, and Toyota are quietly investing billions to accommodate this new OBL superfuel that could put an end to America's dependence on foreign oil once and for all. Now you can learn more about this opportunity when you call 800-642-9454 or visit oblsuperfuel.com to get in on the ground floor before it's too late. Call 800-642-9454 now to get a seat in a free webinar that can show you how to capitalize on this opportunity. Call 800-642-9454 and leave an email or visit oblsuperfuel.com. 800-642-9454.
Brought to you by Money Map Press.
Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin says Congress has to borrow more money, raising its borrowing authority this August, or face default. But House Speaker Ryan defying the Trump administration once again, saying he won't commit, his words, to holding a vote on raising the debt limit on Mnuchin's schedule. And today's economic reports include the unemployment claims for the past week, the Census Bureau's quarterly survey of information and technology-related services. Uber once again in the news, searching for a chief operating officer and a chief financial officer. But that didn't stop the ride-sharing company from firing 20 of its employees over harassment problems and now hiring a marketing exec from Apple to refurbish its image. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
The performance, conduct, and sustainability of organizations are a direct result of leadership. A leader's impact can be profoundly good or bad. We've experienced the devastating impact of unethical, selfish, and corrupt leaders. We've also experienced the impact of good and caring leaders whose honesty, integrity, and ethical conduct have created great organizations and a legacy of goodwill. Our challenging times require courageous, values-driven leaders to step up to these challenges. My name is Rich Panico. I am the founder and CEO of Integrated Project Management Company, IPM. I am blessed to lead a wonderful family of talented and caring leaders. Join us as we strive to change the world, one project at a time.
Trust IPM, the consulting industry's leader at executing your critical initiatives. For almost 3 decades, IPM has planned and executed projects in the life sciences, healthcare, consumer, and industrial sectors with honesty and integrity. Visit IPMCinc.com. That's IPMCinc.com. Or call Integrated Project Management's Chicago office at 630-789-8600.
Imagine purchasing America's best-selling pistol, the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield 9mm, for only $350 plus a $75 manufacturer rebate. Plus, mention you heard it from me, Amy Jacobson, when you buy your Shield and get a box of Federal Range ammo for only $5.60. At Shrinks, of course. Shrinks has Lake County's largest selection of new, used, and consignment pistols, rifles, shotguns, and ammo, plus full gunsmith services. In June, it's also a buy three, get one free on select ammo. And don't forget to purchase your favorite cigars at Shrinks. Avoid the Cook County taxes and take advantage of the June deal on a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield 9mm for only $350 plus a $75 manufacturer rebate. Shrinks, the firearms store generations of customers trust. Visit smokethe-gun.org or call 847-662-4034. Shrinks Smoke and Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964.
AM 560, The Answer.
Big day, the countdown, 1 hour and 46 seconds until James Comey goes before the Senate Intel Committee.
We'll talk to a retired FBI supervisory special agent about his softcore opening statement at 7:07. And text from 219, Amy, regarding your call for the National Guard at Evergreen State University.
Yeah, I can't stand those kids.
Washington National Guard, LOL. Do they even have guns or just T-shirt cannons?
It's awesome. Now let's go to the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching right now. An inmate allegedly holds a nurse hostage. We'll tell you where. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
The way he was fired was utterly shocking. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what the top Democrat on the Senate Intel Committee plans to say in his opening statement before ousted FBI Director James Comey testifies in 2 hours. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Committee Vice Chair Democrat Mark Warner says President Trump's actions, detailed by Comey, violate clear guidelines put into place after Watergate to prevent interference into FBI investigations. In Comey's prepared statement, he reveals the president asked him if there was anything he could do to lift the cloud of the Russia probe. Comey also said he did tell President Trump several times he was not personally under investigation and that the president asked him to get that out there publicly. Comey said he didn't want to do that because it would set up a duty to correct if something changed. Dave.
Rachel, President Trump hasn't tweeted a thing about Comey's testimony, but his lawyer put out a statement that the president feels totally vindicated by Comey confirming he was not under investigation in any Russia probe. Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell says,
"We just want the president to get out of the way of the honest investigations that have to take place at the FBI and on the House Intelligence Committee."
It was supposed to be about Brexit, an election underway in Britain. Fox's Simon Owen live in London.
Dave, a general election called 3 years early by British Prime Minister Theresa May, who said she wants to secure a stronger mandate ahead of negotiations on Britain's departure from the European Union. Another big subject on the campaign trail, national security, after 3 deadly terror attacks in England in 3 months. The man who hopes to unseat May, left-wing leader Jeremy Corbyn, smiling as he cast his ballot.
I'm very proud of our campaign. Thank you very much.
Polls suggest the Prime Minister's Conservative Party's lead has narrowed sharply. Dave?
Simon, an explosion outside the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine's capital, Kiev, but no one was hurt. It happened late last night when someone tossed the bomb over a fence onto the lawn. Fox News, fair and balanced.
59 degrees, mostly sunny skies, 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. 8 people are hurt, including 4 children, following a 2-vehicle crash on Lakeshore Drive. Police say the accident happened last night near East Balbo. All of the victims remain hospitalized at this hour. Authorities say no one hurt after a convicted murderer held a nurse and a correctional officer hostage at a Joliet hospital. Joshua Matthews was being transported from Stateville to St. Joseph Medical Center on Tuesday. The inmate allegedly pulled out a makeshift weapon and then took a nurse and officer hostage. Police say they took Matthews into custody less than an hour later. No one is in custody after 2 teen boys were killed in a shooting on Chicago's West Side. A 15-year-old and a 16-year-old were shot yesterday morning by a masked gunman in the 1200 block of South Lawndale Avenue. An investigation is underway after a baby's decomposed body was found in a shed in South suburban Dalton. Police say the child was discovered in a plastic bag yesterday by a homeowner who smelled a foul odor near 157th and Drexel. Governor Rauner hinting strongly he'll slap a veto on the school funding reform bill passed in the final hours of the legislative session in Springfield. Details on that developing story from AM 560's David Stewart.
At campaign-style stops in Poplar Grove and Moline, Governor Rauner said the bill would raise taxes on the rest of Illinois to pay for Chicago schools.
They tacked on a big amendment with a massive bailout to the city of Chicago that would have been put on the backs of the people of Moline and Rock Island County and the people in Rockford and Decatur and Danville and Waukegan. Not fair to Illinois taxpayers. Your tax money would be going to bail out CPS.
The bill would change to a need-based school funding formula, but also includes $300 million for Chicago teachers' pensions. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
Chicago sports. Marlins avoid the 3-game sweep with a 6-5 win over the Cubs. Rays over the White Sox 3-1. The news, a service of Discover Student Loans. Figuring out how to cover college costs. Discover Student Loans, one of the top private student loan lenders in the country with great rates, zero fees. Plus, students can earn a cash reward for their good grades. Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-500-3471. That's 1-800-500-3471. 1-800-500-3471.
Kyle is a dog trainer.
Okay, sit. Good boy.
In his personal time, Kyle's a personal trainer.
1, 2, good.
Kyle knows how to get results, but when it comes to mortgages, he's less confident.
Guilty as charged.
Fortunately, there's Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. It's simple, so he can understand the details and know he's getting the right mortgage. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Go to rocketmortgage.com today.
Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
When smart businesses need to grow their team, they do it on the site proven to deliver. Indeed.com. According to an independent study, Indeed delivers 5 times more hires than any other job site, more hires than the rest combined. And right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing in relevant search results. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
7:06, let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy, delays are from Cumberland most of the way to the Burn Circle now. It's 46 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 23 from Montrose, 19 in the Express. Outbound, 28 minutes to Montrose, 45 to the airport. Eden's 27 minutes, Lake Cook to the Kennedy, outbound 25. The Eisenhower is now an hour and 7 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 52 minutes from Mannheim, outbound 38 minutes to Thorndale. Inbound Stevenson, an hour and 14 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, an hour from the Tri-State, outbound 46 minutes to 355. Inbound Ryan, 33 minutes, 95th to downtown, I-57, 25 minutes, I-80 to the Merge, Bishop Ford, 29. Northbound Tri-State delays are from 111th to 47th, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. The Adams Tollway's good. Reagan Tollway slow, 25 to Farnsworth, 53 to 83, and 22nd to the Eisenhower. Veterans Memorial slow, 75th to the Reagan Tollway. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today mostly sunny, high 82. Tonight partly cloudy with a passing shower, low 62. Tomorrow periods of clouds and sunshine with a shower or thunderstorm around, high 83. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 62 at O'Hare, 67 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So in advance of today's testimony before Senate Intelligence Committee, Jim Comey released a statement, his opening statement yesterday. But while that was being bandied about on cable news channels, you did have relevant testimony from two other individuals who it has been suggested Trump tried to influence with respect to the Russian collusion investigation, with respect to inquiry into General Flynn, just in general. This has been some reports, the anonymously sourced reports that we've all got so accustomed to. So DNI Coates and NSA Director Rogers were before the Senate, and here's what they said about anybody approaching them to engage in wrongdoing or pressure them in any particular direction. First, Admiral Rogers.
In the 3+ years that I have been the director of the National Security Agency, to the best of my recollection, I have never been directed to do anything I believe to be illegal, immoral, unethical, or inappropriate. And to the best of my recollection, during that same period of service, I do not recall ever feeling pressured to do so.
That's pretty categorical.
Yeah. Did the exact opposite of what CNN said that they're going to say.
Imagine that. And DNI Coates?
In my time of service, which is in interacting with the President of the United States or anybody in his administration, I have never been pressured. I have never felt pressure to intervene or interfere in any way and shaping intelligence in a political way or in relationship to an ongoing investigation.
All I'd say, Director.
Also pretty categorical, although that is not a shared opinion. A previous DNI director, clap on, clap off, clap on, clap off, James Clapper, he spoke to the Australian Press Club.
Oh, yeah.
And had this to say about the investigation, which he previously testified before Congress. He said he saw no evidence of Russian collusion. Now, again, he wasn't privy to a lot of it. He was out by January, but he saw no evidence. Here's what he said about what's ongoing in the Trump administration.
His subsequent actions, sharing a sense of intelligence with the Russians and compromising its source, reflect either ignorance or disrespect, and either is very problematic. Similarly, the whole episode with the firing of Jim Comey, a distinguished public servant, apart from the egregious, inexcusable manner in which it was conducted, I have to say, though, that I think, compare the two, that Watergate pales really, in my view, as compared to what we're confronting now.
Watergate pales by comparison to what we're confronting now. I mean, I guess I would like him to extend his remarks to be specific about how it does pale in comparison Watergate does. But
does he know something we don't know?
Well, apparently he said before Congress that he doesn't. I mean, he's testified that he does not know something we don't know. So it's a rather remarkable statement, and it means that maybe Jim Comey is not the only one with a penchant for playing politics in the intelligence community and law enforcement community. But here's the other thing I think is going on too. And I've created a corollary to Godwin's law. So Godwin's law is the longer an online discussion goes on, the more likely, or the probability of a reference to Hitler approaches 1. Well, the longer a politically driven criminal investigation goes on, without evidence, the probability of a comparison to Watergate tends to 1. And what you have here, what we're waiting for at some point, somewhere, especially if you're going to make characterizations like Clapper did, is a statute under which you're investigating alleged wrongdoing. evidence of alleged wrongdoing, and also the context of the Constitution, a president's authority, and a distinction between purely political discussions, the issue of political propriety, and the issue of criminality and legality. Different things. For more on this, as well as a bit of a review on Trump's nominee to replace Jim Comey, Christopher Wray, we're pleased to be joined by Jeff Danik, who is a retired FBI supervisory special agent. Mr. Danik, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
No problem. Glad to be here, Dan.
And so why don't we start with Christopher Wray and your assessment of that selection with a lot of supposition about which way Trump would go, if he would go with somebody that's more politically aligned with him or somebody that would be well received in the legal and law enforcement communities. And it seems, based on what I know, which is not a lot about Christopher Wray, that he went with the latter, somebody that's well respected in law enforcement and legal circles.
Well, I think a lot of us were, I would say, immensely relieved that it wasn't one of the FBI insiders.
Mm-hmm.
So from that standpoint, it's a very good nomination, a lot of people's eyes.
And elaborate on that. Why were you relieved it wasn't an FBI insider?
Well, a lot of people in the FBI, quite frankly, feel that the top of the FBI needs to be cleaned out, the executive ranks. So, Dan, that's the main problem there now.
And with that attitude include Jim Comey, who has been cleaned out?
Well, he was an impediment to cleaning out the top ranks. So a lot of agents that I talked to, saw him as kind of a savior coming in. But then when he didn't do anything about kind of this corrupted promotion system we have in the organization, and a lot of the executives that don't show great leadership, very much leadership at all, really, the agents started really, not having a lot of faith in him.
Can you describe that in a little bit more detail? This corrupted promotion system that you're referencing, and that agents that you speak with are referencing.
Sure. Well, the fundamental you got to understand is agents join the FBI to be great detectives. So that's most people join the FBI. They want to be like a master detective, like the world's best investigator in the world's best investigative agency. So that's why we join. And solving crimes, boarding terrorism, chasing spies, that's why most people join. As soon as you step out of that, even to a first-level line position, supervisory position, the job dramatically changes. You're not allowed to handle informants anymore. The job becomes administrative. And your ability to lead and affect programs increases, but really the administrative portion of your job is onerous. And many of the best agents will not even take that first step up in the management. Consequently, the worst agents the worst investigators go up into management, and it becomes, after the first line, then it goes downhill from there as you go up in the FBI. It's just rife with people who are incompetent investigators, basically, at the top ranks, and that needs to be cleaned out. I think Chris Wray will become frustrated very quickly if he's confirmed, because he's a complex litigator. The man has spent 12 years building a practice, hundreds of millions of dollars through his law firm, and high-stakes criminal cases that he will become quickly frustrated at the top levels of the FBI. They're just lack of knowledge of these things. Now, at the line level, of course, the agents making those cases, they have extreme knowledge about them, and they can get the job done. But Chris Wray's background with King and Spalding, though, I think needs to be looked at in the confirmation process. I think this is going to be an issue for him, and I hope it's looked at closely. I don't know if you guys guys have done any research at all on his on the law firm and who they represent and that type of thing.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be an issue in the confirmation process.
So in just a few hours, former FBI Director James Comey is going to be testifying. I'm sure you read his 7-page prepared testimony. And what did you make of it?
Amy, I make of that as backside covering. You think about it. You're meeting with your boss, and you sneak off and write these one-sided memos. Memos never really reflect completely what was said by both parties. I've seen so many CYA memos in my time at the Bureau, that's almost 30 years. I would always point out that, you know what, these memos, the one thing they all have in common is pretty simple. Never once does it say anything bad about the writer. The writer never has any, kind of self-exploratory, cathartic moment of relief where, you know what, I shouldn't have said that to the president. But anyway, they're very self-serving. I want to see the actual detailed memos. The notes he says he kept, those are definitely 100% U.S. government records. Those belong to the citizen. He doesn't get to say who sees those, and he's a private citizen, and to dole those out. If that's true, a lot of us in the private sector now are going to go back and change the way we approach our clients.
Yeah, it's very much like a campaign ad or a politician's story on the campaign trail, right? Every anecdote, somehow they always turn out to be the hero. Yeah.
Well, do you think Comey should manage a PR firm after this because he's trying to persuade the public that he's a good guy before the hearing even begins?
No, I think that James Comey, the last thing he's going to have any confidence at is PR.
Yeah,
PR is in the toilet right now.
Well, and a lot. There's been people who have said, Wall Street Journal's opined on it. My sense is it's fairly accurate. Other reporters who talk to people that know Comey and so forth have said similar things. We talked to Tim Carney, the Washington Examiner, on this topic yesterday, and it seems to be a guy who is not just worried about his reputation, obsessed with reputation management as a first order of business, above and beyond all else. Jim Comey wanting to portray himself somehow as, Elliot Ness.
Yeah, it might be a little strong based on what I know and my experience with him.
Okay.
What I have some agents down here in South Florida. We get together quite often. They knew Comey back in the line level prosecution days up in New York, and they describe these are great agents. These are some hero agents, and so I give them a lot of deference. They said back in those days, it was really a hero's row there in the U.S. Attorney's Office of line level prosecutors. The Louis Freehs, Pat Fitzgerald, James Comey. So these are people that you could walk in, very approachable, never said no, as long as you were doing something that was, wheelhouse legal stuff. Mm-hmm. And they were really, really assets to the U.S. government and the taxpayers. So he came into the FBI, and almost immediately we started getting all-employee emails from James Comey that were, I can't really describe them as anything other than bizarre. I would.
Can you give us an example?
He would give these kind of folksy, kind of grandfatherly emails about, I was sitting around the Thanksgiving table with my family, and he had this word on that particular email. None of us had ever heard. I think he made it up. He said it's a word that his family makes up. And okay, I get it. Connect with your family. And
was it Kofifi, by any chance?
It was on that level. And I took to getting so many emails from him. These are long emails. We're busy. Line level supervisors and agents are freaking busy out there. There's 10,000 things going on. There's people calling that someone's taking pictures at the airport. There's a drone flying near the federal building. The marshals are calling. It's busy. We don't have time to read 2-page folksy memos from James Comey.
This Thanksgiving dinner.
I had to put Jim Comey in my spam filter. Hey, stop emailing me. I mean,
so it was. I would email my buddies in the FBI. They're probably listening to this, I'm sure. But if you run my internal email, you'll see I sent it to people. I'm like, this guy is bizarre. What I don't get these emails.
Well,
But,
it's interesting though, because Andy McCarthy, who's a former federal prosecutor and a friend of Jim Comey, writes for National Review, and he a big fan of Comey, has a lot of respect for him. But it's interesting as he moved through the ranks, as you were describing, and up to director of the FBI, and over his tenure there, you can't find virtually anybody who, even if they defend him as a person or as a professional, will defend his performance as FBI director. And ultimately, that's what matters as it pertains to being FBI director.
Dan, 100%. The memo that came out of the Attorney General about him, James Comey usurped the Constitution. He usurped power. He does not, we in the FBI do not have the ability to officially decline on criminal prosecutions. Just because Loretta Lynch was conflicted does not mean that that the power falls to the FBI. It goes to the Deputy Attorney General. It goes to Rosenstein. It goes to whoever over at the AG. They're the next man up, the next woman up, not us. So that was, and it's an echo chamber. It goes back to my original point. At the top of the FBI, when James Comey sits down with his inner circle at the FBI office, at the FBI building on the 7th floor, and says, "This is what I'm going to do, folks," and it's an echo chamber. Nobody stands up and says, "Hey, hold on, put the horse back in the barn. You're making a declination. You're not a prosecutor. You don't have that authority." No one probably said that to him, and that's time and time and time again with him.
He is Jeff Danik, retired FBI supervisory special agent. Jeff, thanks for joining us. Really enlightening discussion. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro romantic answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance, but they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
If you have pain, listen up. Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So, Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
Hey, Dollar Shave Club sends high-quality razors right to your door every month for great low prices. Give Dad a gift that keeps on giving and enroll him in a dollarshaveclub.com.
Yeah, you with that 5 o'clock shadow.
Oh, yeah. You like my goatee? Want to try these great razors for yourself? Well, download or visit the AM560 mobile app right now and enter to win a 4-blade razor with shave butter and post-shave cream for effortless, delightful shaving.
Butter.
If you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, your dental health. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You hear a lot of people screaming at you about dental implants. Get it done in a day, or we can treat everybody, or hundreds of thousands of implants. Look, successful implants don't come from an implant factory. What you don't hear talked about is skill, treatment, and installation. These are what make for successful lifelong implants. And that's why you need to see Dr. Norouzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Norouzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants. You need the experience, skill, and honesty that 24 years of dental implants brings.
This is Dr. Norouzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics, 630-232-7400, 630-232-7400, or just remember, implantsforme.com, implantsforme.com.
Gatto Industrial Platers, Inc. is the specialist in zinc and zinc nickel plating. Gatto is big, they're good, and they're easy to work with. Their high production rack plating line has up to a 15-foot capacity to handle any zinc plating requirement. Gatto's 210,000 square foot facility can process 300 tons per day and offers complete custom packaging with available pickup and delivery in the Chicago metro area by Gatto's own fleet of trucks. All of Gatto's products are inspected and certified to ensure that each customer is receiving the best and most cost-effective plating protection. Gatto is home to King Kong, the largest zinc plating line in North America that can zinc plate parts up to 27 feet long and weighing up to 8,000 pounds. For a quote and fast 24 to 48-hour service, call George Gatto Jr. or George Gatto Sr. at 1-800-290-1223. That's 1-800-290-1223. 1-800-290-1223.
AM 560, The Answer.
Amy, per our conversation with Jeff Danek, former FBI supervisory special agent, about the bizarre emotive emails Comey used to send to subordinates, as well as the passages, the steamy passages about his dinner with Trump in the green room, I want to test you. Is this Jim Comey? Or is it 50 Shades of Grey? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Before I know it, he's got both of my hands in his vice-like grip above my head, and he's pinning me to the wall using his lips. His other hand grabs my hair, yanks down, bringing my face up, and his lips are on mine. My tongue tentatively strokes his and joins his in a slow, erotic dance. His erection is against my belly.
Okay. Truly, for that word. I'm going to have to go with 50 Shades of Grey.
No, it was in the Comey statement.
No. Coming up next, more on the countdown to Comey. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
62 degrees, mostly sunny skies in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Police in the Ukraine say some sort of explosive device went off at the U.S. Embassy in Kiev. No injuries reported. No immediate reports of damage to the embassy. Just a matter of hours, former FBI Director James Comey will testify before the U.S. Senate with eyes of the nation on him. A transcript of Comey's opening statement to the Senate Intelligence Committee was released yesterday. Independent Maine Senator Angus King.
And the fact that he felt constrained, and I think he said in his statement he'd never done anything like that before, he essentially kept a diary of every conversation he had with the president because he felt so uncomfortable about the way all this played out.
King says the statement reads like the first few pages of a novel. A woman accused of leaking classified information to the media is expected to plead not guilty. Reality Winner will be in court today for a bond hearing. The Warriors are a win away from completing the first undefeated postseason in NBA history. Kevin Durant connects on a long three-pointer with 45 seconds left, helping Golden State clinch a 118-113 win over the Cavaliers in Game 3 of the NBA Finals last night. One man is dead, another hurt following a blaze in Oak Lawn. 2 mobile homes caught fire early this morning near 90th and South Cicero. Authorities investigating a suspicious house fire in East Dundee that killed a person and a dog. King County sheriffs continue to investigate. Charges are pending following a deadly stabbing on Chicago's southwest side. A man was stabbed early this morning during a fight inside a home in the 2100 block of West 54th. Mayor Rahm Emanuel pointing to a new executive order saying he will follow the Paris Agreement on climate change. in spite of President Trump pulling out of that deal. And if you're wondering why Ashton Kutcher was dropping fish on a stage last night at the CMT Awards, well, it was because he was saluting a hockey team. Kutcher was at the award show last night to announce an award for the Country Music Television Award winners, and one of the nominees was Carrie Underwood. You may know her, but she's also married to the captain of the Nashville Predators in the NHL Finals. And now it's become a ritual for the Predators fans to hurl catfish onto the ice during games. So when Kutcher announced Underwood as a nominee, he dropped the catfish on the stage in honor of the Predators. Marlins avoid the sweep with a 6-5 win over the Cubs at Wrigley Field. Rays over the White Sox 3-1, and the news is a service of Discover Student Loans. Figuring out how to cover college costs, Discover Student Loans is one of the top private student loan lenders in the country with great rates, zero fees, plus students can earn a cash reward for their good grades. Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Give Dad the perfect Father's Day gift and earn $25 in Cabela's Bucks when you spend $150 or more in-store. Shop in-store and online.
What's the scariest thing about going to the dentist? Opening your mouth or opening your wallet? Because just a simple cleaning can cost $100, and things like root canals can cost you hundreds more. If you don't have dental insurance to help, you should give Physicians Mutual Insurance Company a call. 1-800-400-4811. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps pay for checkups right away, so you can call today and get your teeth cleaned tomorrow. Plus, it helps cover the more expensive procedures you might need down the road. Fillings, crowns, bridges, even costly dentures. There's no deductible and no annual maximum. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired or on Medicare. There are no networks, so you can choose any dentist you'd like. That's right, any dentist you want. Call and we'll rush you a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-400-4811. That's 1-800-400-4811. 1-800-400-4811.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
7:36 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Edens, delays start around Peterson Avenue. It's 25 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 29. Kennedy, 52 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound it's 48 minutes. The Eisenhower, an hour and 9 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 52 minutes from Manheim, and outbound 52 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 14 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 46 minutes. The Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-state delays are northbound, Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Reagan Tollway bottled up 25 to Farnsworth, Naperville Road to 355, and 22nd to the Eisenhower. Veterans Memorial slope out most of the way to Roosevelt, and Army Trail to 290. Traffic is a service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today, just $19.99 plus $3 disposal fee. For tires, oil, service, and repairs, National Tire and Battery. That's all you need. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Sunny and 82 today. Partly cloudy with a passing shower, low 63. Currently 62 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Wine Time Radio. Every Saturday at 5 p.m. on AM 560, explore the wonderful world of wine with host James Crooker and Rob Lehner.
No Victocrats allowed. Why? Because we've got a country to save. Join me, Larry Elder, tonight starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and let's take a little cleansing breath from Jim Comey, who's left us breathless with his rhetorical flourishes.
No idea he was so romantic.
Let's talk a little bit about something closer at home, like the state of Illinois. Ben Bradley,
formerly of Channel 7.
Yeah, no, now over at WGN News Television. He had a very good piece, and that's not something I say about the Chicago Press Corps very much, but when it's warranted, it's warranted. Very good piece on GN News last night about how Illinois is losing its border war, really borders war. It's not just Indiana, it's all of the contiguous states and really the Midwest in general. And he profiled a couple of individuals. One thing I liked about what Bradley did is it's not businesses versus families or businesses and corporate CEOs versus the workers. It's everybody. And he profiled Hoist Lift Truck, the company that moved recently from Bedford Park to East Chicago, Indiana, both from the perspective of a worker who works for Hoist and moved with Hoist out of Illinois to Indiana, as well as from the company CEO's perspective. Take a listen.
Bill Roberts used to live in the western suburb. Then his company moved to northwest Indiana.
I come here, I make more money, and everything's cheaper. It's a no-brainer.
In 2015, Bill's employer, Hoist Lift Truck, moved from Bedford Park, Illinois, to East Chicago, Indiana. It's a family business that operated in Illinois for 24 years.
Extremely difficult decision. There were many moments where I told my son, Vince, let's just stop, let's not do it. I'm too uncomfortable, change is tough.
Hoist CEO Marty Flaskas says his thinking changed when he realized that moving a few miles could save him millions on everything from workers' comp to property taxes. For example, in Bedford Park, he paid $2 a square foot to the tax man. Over the border in Indiana, he pays 43 cents a foot.
In Illinois, we were getting reassessed and having to pay a law firm to lower our tax bill down to what would be a competitive rate. It was like a legal shakedown.
Indiana economic development officials say Hoist is one of at least 50 Illinois companies that has made the move in the last few years, bringing more than 5,000 jobs with them.
Legal shakedown. I love it. Because that's right. You have to hire an attorney to get your property taxes down.
The cost per square foot for his facility 5 times lower in Indiana. You heard Bill Roberts, his employee. Everything is cheaper, and it's more accessible.
Gas, property taxes, groceries, you name it.
Quality of life is what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Any questions about Illinois and what has happened and is happening under Chicago Democrat leadership? I know Bruce Rauner's the governor. I'm aware since 2015. Hoist Lift Truck has been in business for a long time, as are the other 50 companies that have left in recent years, plural, not just the last two. The exodus from Illinois, businesses, families with the businesses that employ them, as is the case with the Flaska family and employees like Bill Roberts. Any questions? So everybody's got to make their choice. And you got 14 months to decide, revolt or bolt. You either change out the leadership of the city, because that's only 2 months after the 2018 election, the mayoral election and aldermanic elections. You either change out the leadership of Chicago and Illinois, or you leave, or as Marty Flaska said, Illinois is becoming a place for upper middle class and the rich to survive. I was having employees who had to move 60 or 70 miles away from his facility then in Bedford Park to be able to afford housing. And it's not because Flaska is not paying a living wage or a fair wage. 60 or 70 miles away. So, again, talking about the quality of life from the employee perspective, from the worker perspective. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Now, listen.
Well, it sounds like a no-brainer. I mean, if I owned a company and I wanted to cut down on my property taxes and create a better life for my employees, why not?
And here's the flip side, and this is, again, a great choice by Ben Bradley and GN News. This is Bob Witt, I think his name is Wiss, but he's the president of Doreen's Frozen Pizza, which is in Calumet City. He's also, I think, the president of the Hegewisch Business Association on the southeast side. But he's decided to stay in Illinois. But listen to why he can stay and what may prompt him to leave in the not-too-distant future.
Fresh Italian sausage on all our pizzas, not that mystery meat stuff. We do it the old-fashioned way.
Bob Wise is among those who decided to stay.
I am loyal to the community. We did want to stay close.
This purveyor of frozen pizza says it's disheartening to try and make it work in a state that can't even produce a budget. Wise is the president of the Hegewisch Business Association and says look no further than the number of for sale signs and talk to residents.
Every time something comes up over here, it goes out of business.
To see what's going on.
The vacancy rate in downtown Hegewisch, just 3 miles away from here, is probably 35 to 40%. Whiting on 119th Street looks awfully full to me.
What kept Wise's business in Illinois is simple, a special property tax classification that sunsets in a few years.
You know, we can offer incentives, or we can make the climate easier.
Right. The last thing that Wise said, I think I mispronounced it, Bob Wise. The last thing he said, so he's got a special deal, and that's what that is an indicia of a banana republic, of a kleptocracy. The way you can stay is if you get the special deal. You get the inside play. You get the
maybe
wire
hire Mike
contract.
Madigan's attorney or law firm to help you.
So it's about clout, not the service or good you're providing, and the ability to get a carve out. But Wise knows that, and he knows that the better play is the climate. Make the climate more hospitable. That's the play. That means policy choices very different than the policy choices Illinois has made for 40 years. I mean, two excellent profiles. And by the way, understand, Marty Flaska and Bill Roberts, his employee, and Bob Wise, understand exactly what Chicago Democrats are saying to you who just want to raise taxes, as the Senate Democrats did. $5.5 billion tax increase, and that's all it was. Nothing on the spend side. We're just going to continue to take more. What they're saying about you, they're saying Bruce Rauner's the problem because they can't say this. But they're acting like you're the problem. You know how you can tell? Because they're taking more from you. So what does that say? You're not paying enough. It's your fault, Illinois families. It's your fault, homeowner.
Reverse psychology.
Well, you follow the logic. We're demanding you pay more. We're not demanding. We're just taking. That's what we like to do. We'd like to take more from you. So you're saying Bruce Rauner's the problem because you can't say I'm the problem, but your behavior says you think I'm the problem because you're taking more from me. I'm not paying enough. Isn't that ultimately what they're saying? Yeah. It's your fault. It's not their fault. It's Bruce Rauner's fault because he's a political opponent. But ultimately, it's your fault because you're getting stuck with a 32% income tax increase and a corporate tax increase and a cable TV tax increase and a cloud tax increase and an extended sales tax on services. You're to blame. That's what the Democrats are saying in this state. And I'd love to hear cognitive dissonance. I bet I won't. You're just going to hear, I guess we're just going to have people that continue to bury their head in the sand on Oak Street Beach, and or, as Marty Flaska said, don't care. I'm insulated from terrible public policy because I'm very wealthy. The Champagne socialists all along the lakefront from the city to the Wisconsin border. Or I'm a beneficiary of the kleptocracy. Because how else do you stay in Illinois? Steve and Niles, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes. I've been living in Niles for all my life, 80 years, and every year taxes. We want casinos. The casino money is going to all the suburbs that they deserve it, but where's our cut? And by the same token, where is the corruption police? Everybody knows there's corruption, and these guys are just pocketing the money. They're not giving it to the schools or infrastructure. Come on, guys. We need help.
Thanks for the call, Steve.
Home of Nick Blaze. He was the mayor of Niles who spent some time.
And then he was inmate number 435621 for some time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, boy, part of the kleptocracy. Scott in Schaumburg.
Good morning, team.
Morning.
Interesting topic, very timely. Considering we keep, more in debt today than we were yesterday in the state?
Every day.
While you were sleeping.
Yes. Every day, or all of our policies are made by people. And we've been talking about the one guy who hasn't left the front of the ship in 30 years, and I guess he's put there by people.
Yes.
Voted in by a district. Let me ask you, Dan, you're supposed to vote as a citizen. I can't say you're obligated, but at any point, are you accountable or responsible for your vote? Because it does seem like corruption. It does seem if the same district keeps putting this guy in who's driving the rest of the ship into the gutter, or already has, are they accessories? Are they an enabler?
Well,
it's not like,
yeah.
And this is a legal thing and a civil thing, but does the rest of the state have a case against the district that keeps putting the same guy into office year after year who puts us into the position we're in today?
Scott, let me localize that for you since you're in Schaumburg. There's a legal case, of course. People are freely voting him in. Madigan you're talking about, of course. People are also freely voting in Michelle Mussman in Schaumburg, who then goes down to Springfield and is a roll call vote for Mike Madigan. So you think that it's just the people in Madigan's district that are culpable for what's happened? Why? The way to depose Madigan is not to try and take out the controlled vote that has benefited from everybody else's largesse that he funnels back to his district for 40 years. That's not going to happen. People are not going to wean themselves off of Madigan's largesse. So that the largesse Madigan returns home, they're going to continue to play serfs to the feudal lord. But what about in the suburbs? What's the excuse in Schaumburg? What's the excuse in Park Ridge and Des Plaines? What's the excuse in Addison and Villa Park and Bloomingdale? What's the excuse in Grays Lake and Lincolnshire? You know, I mean...
So they're all Madigan's people?
Well, these are Democrats in the suburbs where you have the suburbanites being pillaged, and then they say, well, it's Madigan's fault and those boneheads on the southwest side who vote for Madigan. What about the boneheads next door to you that vote for Michelle Mussman? Or Carol Sente up in Lake County, or Deb Conroy in Villa Park, and I could go on, of course. That is so it's a little bit of we need to stop kind of the blame shifting, and we need to say what's happening in my community and what can I do about it.
Don't disagree. It is local, and it sounds like education as to who's doing what to us is in order, and I don't disagree. The word needs to get out that there's a right way to conduct your affairs. Most of it financial, because that's what we count on government for, to be smart with our dollar. And when it's not, it's just like your kids spending your bank account away. Don't let it happen. We got to be better cops of the people we put in office.
Yep, absolutely.
Because this stuff has to stop, or we are dead in the water.
Thanks for the call, Scott. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. And that's the job of the Republican Party too. That's the part of our blame, not doing a good enough job communicating, messaging, persuading. A lot of blame to go around. Megan in Whiting, Indiana.
Hi, Dan and Amy. I just wanted to say, you guys probably already know this, but, San Francisco, that's a great example for us to stay away from. I mean, 10 years from now, are we going to have tent cities all over the city of Chicago because people who don't have champagne socialist type money have
it's already here.
Nowhere to go.
It's already here. Lawrence Avenue Bridge, Wilson Avenue Bridge. It's disgusting. Mayor Daley used to go
Wacker.
On Lower Wacker too. But I mean, if you've been over there, you're trying to get to the lakefront. It smells. It's disgusting. I mean, it's a sanitary issue at this point in time. And I know Mayor Daley used to go in there with a fire hose and get them out. And they put in brighter lights. They've offered them Section 8 housing. It is disgusting. We have soccer along the lakefront, and people from the suburbs drive in to our games and have to see that and smell that. And there are very aggressive homeless people because they don't want, that's their retirement plan. Oh, I'm just going to camp out here.
Yeah.
And now they're all starting to put up tents along Lakeshore Drive.
Well, it's not.
It's an eyesore.
Yeah. Thanks for the call. Megan. And let's be clear.
I'm compassionate to a point.
Yeah, but the problem in this state is not the homeless. It's the policies that are displacing more people from their homes. And, oh, by the way, it's the choices that homeowners are making, the self-sufficient are making.
I'm going camping this weekend along Lakeshore Drive. That's what I'm going to do.
Dan and Wilmette.
We have low-tax states that people are moving to. Unfortunately for us, the low-tax states include New York and Connecticut, where the real estate taxes are half of what we pay in Illinois.
Yeah.
The real estate taxes are half in those two blue states. We are out of our frickin' minds.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, you're in base camp for it. You want to talk about low information voters? Not you, Dan, that's based on what you just said, but Wilmette, Winnetka, Kenilworth, Glencoe, Highland Park, the Tony North Shore. Blank checks to the school districts. You can't spend enough.
And they do less in terms of educating our kids, and then they turn around and indoctrinate them with all this progressive BS where everything's for free. And it's a very sad situation.
It is.
Illinois, get out of Dodge. When New York is a low-tax state, we're in trouble.
Thanks for the call, Dan. Bruce and Skokie.
Hi, how you doing? Great show. I listen every morning.
Thank you.
How is it that no one ever asked the question that how much was Madigan worth when he got into office 5,000 years ago? Now he's a multimillionaire. How is it that no one ever asked the questions? Wake up, people. How did Bill Clinton become a billionaire? He was making $35,000 a year as governor of Arkansas. How did Obama, who's a community organizer, who didn't have a pot or a window to throw it out of, there's worth, $500 million. Where do they get their money? How can you let Madigan stay in office? Rauner's the problem. Madigan is the problem. It's a terrible thing to live in fear. I live in fear. I'm an attorney, 70 years old. I can't pay my taxes. I hardly can pay my electric bill. Okay, why? Tax goes up and up and up. Okay, and they keep taking from me. Pretty soon I won't be able to live in my house. I'm a slave. Wake up, people. We keep paying Madigan, who's got us all enslaved. It's Rauner. Rauner's not the problem. When are you people going to wake up? I've woken up because I can hardly pay my bills. And it's all for taxes.
Thanks for the call, Bruce. Appreciate it.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer. Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Hey, thinking of getting engaged to that special person in your life? Well, I have the perfect place for you. Visit Roland's Jewelers, a family-owned jeweler in downtown Libertyville. Roland's engagement rings are gorgeous, and they're a direct diamond importer. That means wholesale prices on quality diamonds. Shopping for an anniversary or a birthday gift but don't know what to choose? Roland's offers a large selection from designers like Hearts on Fire, Simon, John Hardy, and Roberto Coin. Their knowledgeable and friendly staff can show you quality Swiss watches like Tag Heuer, Michelle, and Lon. It would help.
You're very conversant in the various jewelry designers. I'm
Thank
impressed.
you. Roland's Jewelers is well known for excellent customer service, including custom designs and jewelry repairs by their expert craftsmen. So let Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville make all your special occasions memorable. Visit rolandsjewelers.com or call 847-918-7300. That's 847-918-7300. Roland's, a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
If you're a sleep apnea sufferer who's on the go, go to your phone. Because if you give us a call right now, you'll be able to try the world's first portable mini CPAP device absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights. It's the Transcend Mini CPAP, an engineering marvel that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. Its unique design is so small and so light, you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. No more dragging around a big, bulky CPAP. Even better, now you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights by calling minicpap.com, 1-800-300-9209. Transcend is FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. You can also add a battery pack that's as tiny as a deck of cards. So now you can enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. But don't wait. To receive your 10-night in-home trial, call minicpap.com now. 1-800-300-9209. That's 1-800-300-9209.
AM 560, The Answer.
You were talking about watches. Didn't Tag Heuer, didn't he played third base for the 78 Braves, didn't he?
It's a Tag Heuer.
Yeah,
you can find that at Roland's Jewelers.
Yes.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Steve Moore at 8:08.
But now into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
A deadly fire in suburban Oak Lawn. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Will the hearing live up to the hype? I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News. We're an hour away from the FBI director President Trump controversially fired, testifying at the Senate. The ranking Democrat on the Intel Committee will reference Watergate in his opening remarks. Then it's James Comey's turn.
Comey will describe memos he drafted after a few meetings with President Trump, a practice he felt compelled to do, he'll say in his opening remarks, after his first one-on-one with the then president-elect in January. Comey says meetings included a request for loyalty. Comey says he offered instead honesty and an ask from the president to let go of any investigation into former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the Senate. A Trump lawyer says the president feels totally vindicated that Comey confirms the president was not under investigation about Russia. Fox's Rachel Sutherland has other pre-hearing reaction live from Washington.
Dave, Democratic Senator Ron Wyden says the president asking the FBI director to go easy on Michael Flynn
almost rises to a Watergate-like level of interference in an investigation.
Republican Lindsey Graham told Fox and Friends,
I'm convinced that the president did not obstruct justice, and so is Mueller, or Comey wouldn't be testified.
Referring there to Robert Mueller, special counsel investigating Russia. Senate Intelligence Committee Vice Chair Democrat Mark Warner released his prepared statement, calling the way Comey was fired utterly shocking. Dave.
Rachel Iardi apologized in public. Now Montana Congressman-elect Greg Gianforte does it on paper.
Republican Greg Gianforte issuing an apology letter Wednesday saying that he plans to donate money to a journalism advocacy organization that is a part of a settlement agreement with a Guardian newspaper reporter that he's accused of assaulting ahead of the state's special election May 24th.
That's Fox's Jeff Manasso. The reporter has agreed not to sue Gianforte and won't object to Gianforte entering a no contest plea to a misdemeanor assault charge. Fox News, fair and balanced.
62 degrees, mostly sunny skies. Winds are calm at the moment. 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. We're hearing about trouble this morning on the westbound Eisenhower Expressway at Austin. All four lanes blocked with a crash. The latest on this developing story with Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center in just a moment. One man is dead, another hurt following a blaze in Oak Lawn. Authorities say two mobile homes caught fire early this morning near 90th and South Cicero. One victim was found outside of a trailer while the second was inside another mobile home. Both men were hospitalized where one of them died. Authorities are investigating a suspicious house fire near East Dundee. It killed one person. Kane County Sheriff says the blaze began yesterday inside a home on Richardson Drive in Dundee Township. Charges are pending following a deadly stabbing on Chicago's southwest side. Man was stabbed early this morning during a fight inside a home in the 2100 block of 54th. Investigators believe right now the incident may have been domestic related. No one is in custody after 2 teen boys were killed in a shooting on Chicago's west side. The 15-year-old Jaquez Mack and 16-year-old Corey Hill were shot yesterday morning by a masked gunman in the 1200 block of South Lawndale Avenue. Federal judge says the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois are not in compliance with court orders to promptly pay health care bills for those low-income and other vulnerable groups, even as the state heads into a third year without a budget. Yesterday's ruling by Judge Joan Lefkoe does not order the state to pay $2 billion in unpaid Medicaid bills immediately. If so, that would have deepened the state's financial crisis. Marlins over the Cubs at Wrigley, 6-5. Rays over the White Sox, 3-1. The news, a service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today, just $19.99 plus $3 disposal fee for tires, oil, service, and repairs. National Tire and Battery. That's all you need. Our time is 8:04. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, chipmaker Advanced Micro Devices stock rallied again yesterday. AMD is seeing its best gains in 4 months this week after Apple said at its Worldwide Developers Conference that the new iMac Pro will include AMD technology. Dunkin' Donuts Coffee was selling more packaged products than expected in the recent quarter. Parent company J.M. Smucker is reporting better than expected sales and profit. Smucker also makes Folgers, Hungry Jack, and other products in addition to its preserves and jams. Its grocery store products saw higher sales too, though pet food sales were disappointing. For a couple of hours yesterday, Amazon.com shoppers who were trying to view product pages instead wound up with a picture of a dog. The Dow closed up 37 yesterday, NASDAQ up 22, S&P gained 3. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 in Chicago. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Scoundrels are not exclusive to politics. They're smart enough to occupy necessity service industries like the automotive business. As a real estate broker, my car is a lifeline and a total necessity to my business and my family. Which is why I had to seek out an honest, truthful auto service provider. For over the past decade, I've put my trust in Craigies Mobile Service Center on Lake Street in Addison. Craigies handles full auto repair on foreign and domestic vehicles. They pride themselves on providing you the best cost-effective auto repair and expert advice. Craigies has full service bays and truck lifts that can service and manage your whole fleet. They also provide priority service for your business and can track each vehicle, alerting you to the repair before you need it, keeping your guys on the road. Since 1959, Craigies Mobile Service Center has thrived through 10 presidential administrations, giving you reputable, dependable, and honest auto repair. Do yourself a favor. Just go into Craigies on Lake Street in Addison. See my guy Vic. He'll set you up. Tell him Sean from Elmwood Park sent you. I approve of this message.
Greta is a drill instructor.
Move, move, move!
Yes, ma'am. When it comes to training lean, mean, fighting machines, she doesn't mess around.
Drop and give me $3,000!
But when it comes to getting a mortgage, Greta's less confident.
I got nothing.
Fortunately for Greta, there's Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. It's simple, so she can understand the details and know she's getting the right mortgage. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Go to rocketmortgage.com today.
Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
When you're hiring for a growing business, you don't need lots of candidates. You need the right candidates. You need Indeed.com. With an algorithm that positions your job post where quality candidates are and screener questions that help you zero in on the best talent. Indeed.com, the site proven through an independent study to deliver 5 times more hires than any other. New users claim your $50 credit for a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
8:07 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens Expressway inbound has just mild delays from Foster to the junction. 21 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, but outbound 37 Inbound Kennedy, 58 minutes now from O'Hare to downtown. 34 from Montrose, 26 in the Express. Outbound 29 minutes to Montrose, 54 to O'Hare. Inbound Eisenhower, an hour and 14 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 56 minutes from Mannheim. Outbound, it is shut down right now from Central to Austin. Got a crash blocking all lanes, 4 cars involved. The delay starts at Laramie, and it's growing. And beyond that, you've got milder delays, Harlem to Mannheim and North Avenue out to 355. Mount Stevenson, an hour and 14 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 46 minutes. And on Ryan, 29 minutes, 95th to downtown, Lakeshore Drive. Southbound delays start at Bryn Mawr, it's 35 minutes, Hollywood to Monroe. Northbound bumper to bumper, 31st to Jackson. Tri-State southbound, slow Washington to 176. The Adams Tollway to the Irving Park Toll. Northbound, it's heavy, 115th to Hinsdale Oasis. The Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A mostly sunny day, high 82. Partly cloudy night with a passing shower, low 62. Clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm tomorrow, high 83. And at night, patchy clouds, low 62. Mostly sunny and breezy Saturday, high 90. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
62 at O'Hare. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We're waiting with bated breath, but not nearly bated breath as deeply as CNN with their countdown clock.
Well, just so you
to
know,
Jim Comey's testimony before Senate Intel today.
Well, countdown clock is zeroed out. Now they're doing their pregame show where they've got, the big dogs in, Wolf Blitzer, Anderson Cooper had to come in early today. They're doing the pregame show and then game on at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So at 9 a.m. Central time here, Mike Gallagher, our brother in sound, will be bringing you the James Comey testimony.
Well, I don't even know why Gloria Vanderbilt's kid came in today after that rhetorical beatdown he took from Alan Dershowitz yesterday. Dershowitz on the whole matter from Comey's opening statement that was released by the Senate Intel Committee yesterday, the whole matter of Flynn and Trump trying to influence Comey to drop the Flynn investigation, so Comey perceived. Here's what Dershowitz had to say in terms of the legality or illegality, even the possibility of illegality associated with what Comey said in his statement.
Well, first of all, let's look at the big constitutional picture. The president could have told Comey, you are commanded, directed to drop the prosecution against Flynn. The president has the right to do that. Comey acknowledges that. He says in the statement that historically, presidents have done that to the Justice Department. But in the last few years, we've had a tradition of separation. But that tradition doesn't create crime. Remember also what the president could have done. He could have said to Comey, stop this investigation. I am now pardoning Flynn. That's what President Bush did. In the beginning of the investigation of Caspar Weinberger, which could have led back to the White House to the first President Bush on the eve of the trial pardoned Caspar Weinberger, pardoned 6 people, and Special Counsel Walsh said this is outrageous. He's stopping the investigation. Nobody talked about obstruction of justice. You cannot have obstruction of justice when the president exercises his constitutional authority to pardon, his constitutional authority to fire the director of the FBI, or his constitutional authority to tell the director of the FBI who to prosecute, who not to prosecute. So let's get out of the weeds and let's look at the big
But then let me just ask you.
Yeah. Any questions? So I want to get to Jim Comey or E.L. James because that's the fun part of this, and it's not easy to distinguish between the two. So let's just summarize here. So you just heard Dershowitz on the Flynn matter. Right. Yesterday you heard from both NSA Director Rogers and DNI Coates. Neither one of them ever pressured, ever interfered with, was it ever suggested to them they do anything illegal, immoral, or otherwise incorrect Okay, so they're off the board. The loyalty issue, which was reported a month ago by the New York Times, an honestly source. It's included in Comey's statement, demanding, not Trump demanding, asking, will you be loyal to me? He's not even demanding it. Not a legal issue. You can say, as Paul Ryan did yesterday, it was inappropriate, but it's not a legal issue, it's a political issue.
Is it appropriate for the president to ask for a question of loyalty for the FBI director?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously I don't think that is. I think Director Comey will probably get a lot of questions about that tomorrow, would be my guess. But I don't think that that's new. I think that...
Right. And by the way, Greta Van Susteren is still on the air.
Yeah, you didn't know, did
Who
you?
knew?
But a lot of people think
so there's that.
Yeah, okay.
What else is left? Oh.
Well, lifting the cloud. Some people see that's the I gotcha moment where, he did 3 times. So they met in person 3 times, talked on the phone 6 times. And on the phone once and in person once to, quote, unquote, let it go or, quote, unquote, lift the cloud. I mean, but it wasn't lift the cloud.
You just heard Alan Dershowitz say he could command him. And he obviously stopped well short of that in Comey's own words. And by the way, in previous testimony before Congress from Comey, from Deputy Director of the FBI, and now Acting Director Andy McCabe. I mean, there's just no there here, at least not with respect to President Trump, who, in addition to that, speaking of 3 times, in a very kind of biblical sense, Comey in his opening statement references 3 times in which he told Tangerine Jesus that he is not a target of the Russian probe.
Okay, but what about him asking Comey to lift the cloud or
what did I do?
To let this go? Yes.
What?
No, on the investigation of Michael Flynn, not President Trump.
Did you just hear Alan Dershowitz?
Yes, I just heard Alan
He could have pardoned him. He didn't. He could have told Comey, you shall not, or you shall. He didn't. So lift the cloud, this kind of generic, loosey-goosey language, political, not a legal issue. This is not close.
Then why is the left celebrating? I mean,
because they have all of their eggs in this political basket. What do you think they're going to do?
Why are they having watch parties?
No matter what Jim Comey said. Well, first of all, they're not making any distinction between legal and political.
Right.
Number one. Number two, no matter what Jim Comey says, if Trump, as Paul Ryan said, it was inappropriate for him to do it. Inappropriate to them is impeachment, which is absurd. It's childlike.
They're living on. Yep.
And so no matter what is said, they are going to cling to something that is offered by Comey while he's doing his reputation management, because they need to continue this narrative of, Trump is in bed with the Russians, no justice, no peace, Maxine, and Al Green from Texas, and all of the other hysterics of the left that think they're going to take this president out through an impeachment proceeding. So no matter what is said, they will spin it to continue this narrative, and Comey's testimony in and of itself continues the story. And here's the other thing. So long, and this is a cautionary note for Trump, so long as Trump and his team are substantially engaged in this topic, there's an opportunity cost to be paid with respect to engaging on topics like tax reform and Obamacare replacement and the FBI focusing on things like interdicting terrorist activity in this country and vetting refugees coming to this country and the like. So, yes, you can do more than one thing at the same time, but you can't do everything with the same resource allocation, the same attention at the same time. And so this is a distraction, particularly for the president.
But it's a good read. I mean, this 7-page memo that he put out. Well,
don't say which it's from. This is either E.L. James or Jim Comey. We're not going to tell you which. We'll take your calls and you guess which. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You read a passage from either 50 Shades of Grey or Comey's opening statement. I don't know which, and I will as well.
Okay. Do we do this now or after the break?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, this is it. Well, it's kind of give it away because this is about the dinner that they had planned in
The dinner who had planned? Sebastian and Anastasia?
No, I got a call at lunchtime that day, and he invited me to dinner, saying he was going to invite my whole family, but said this time, it's just going to be you. While at dinner, we talked about loyalty. Yeah. He said to me, leaned over the dinner plate,
tense.
The candles lit, and said, I need loyalty. I expect loyalty. I didn't move, speak, or change my facial expressions in any way during the awkward silence that followed. Yeah. We simply gazed, looked into each other.
Yeah, you did.
In silence. The conversation then moved on, but later returned to the subject near the end of the dinner. At that point, I leaned over and said, I will be honest, loyal.
Can I pick it up from there? He sighs, slides in beside me, and pulls me into his arms, careful not to touch my stinging behind. We are spooning again. He kisses me softly beside my ear. What do you think?
I think I could continue. Our last phone call, our last conversation. Well, this might give it away.
Why don't you like to be touched, I whisper, staring up in his soft gray eyes. His arms wrapped around me, and he's pulling me to him hard, fast, gripping my ponytail to tilt my head up, kissing me like his life depends on it.
He said, lift the cloud. The cloud is making it hard for me to do my job. Oh. He said, I've been loyal to you, very loyal. We have that thing, you know.
That thing. I know that thing.
I said only that the way to handle it was to have someone else intervene. He said that was what we could do. The call ended, and that was the last time we spoke.
The shock runs through me, and it's the sweetest, strangest, hedonistic feeling. My body convulses at the sweet, stinging bite. My nipples harden and elongate from the assault. And I moan loudly. I mean, honestly, I don't know which is which. I removed the titles of the two documents, and I can't distinguish between Comey and E.L. James.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, that was nice. Okay, back to reality and the forecast, which is going to be lovely. Sunshine today, a high of 82. You can have your Comey viewing parties outside with this kind of weather. Tonight, a passing shower in certain spots, a low of 63. And for Friday, periods of clouds and sunshine with a shower or thunderstorm around, a high of 84. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's the one and only Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. 8094 westbound traffic is really jammed this morning from Central Avenue all the way to Klein Avenue due to road work, and eastbound at Stop and Go Central to Ripley. And there's the outbound Eisenhower. A crash between Central and Austin just cleared. All lanes have reopened. It was a four-car collision. 54 minutes to get from downtown out to Thorndale. Inbound an hour and 14 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Eden's 21 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose. Outbound 37. Kennedy 58 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 54. Stevenson an hour and 12 minutes. 3:55 to the drive. Outbound 40 minutes. Ryan is 29 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tri-State heavy on the southbound side. Washington to 176. The Adams Tollway to the Irving Park Toll. Northbound 87th, 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Irving Park. Veterans Memorial still very heavy. Boughton most of the way to Roosevelt and Army Trail to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Oh, the Bolingbrook Golf Club.
Yeah.
It's the location.
That thing.
It's a great thing. It's the
thing we got at Bolingbrook.
It's the location of our annual golf outing this year, sponsored in part by Joe Cotton Ford, but there's more than just golf at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Celebrate Independence Day at the Bolingbrook Golf Club this year, complete with food, fun, the thing called fireworks. Oh, you can find all the details about their 4th of July celebration at BolingbrookGolfClub.com, BolingbrookGolfClub.com.
Yeah!
Looking for a fun summer vacation idea? Charlottesville in Albemarle County, Virginia is a short and easy trip with daily nonstop flights on 2 airlines from O'Hare. Tour the homes of former Presidents Jefferson, Monroe, and Madison. Sip wine at one of the area's 30-plus wineries. Take a hike in Shenandoah National Park. Dine al fresco at one of the many farm-to-table restaurants, or stroll down one of the longest pedestrian malls in the country. Plan your trip today at visitcharlottesville.org.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Balance of Nature is celebrating its 20th anniversary by providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
When you purchase an alarm system, you do it for one reason above all others. You need to know something about the people or property under your care. Knowing that what matters most will be looked after by professionals when you can't be there is a comforting feeling. At Alarm Detection Systems, we've learned a great deal from our decades of service. We know how to treat customers on the phone. We know that installing quality security products using certified technicians is the only way to go. We know that same-day service and local monitoring will provide the safety and peace of mind you're looking for. You no longer have to wonder if your home or business is protected by your alarm system. Know that it is. At home or on the go, the information you seek is right in your hands. It's good to be in the know. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. That's 630-844-6300 or online at adsalarm.com. Alarm license number 127000143.
If you have pain, I hope you listen up. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of the side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you could be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com.
Here's a celebration not to miss. I encourage you to join my friend Matt Podgorski and the Northwest Side GOP Club as they celebrate President Trump's 71st birthday, which is also a Flag Day, and Make America Great Again night on Wednesday, June 14th. If you're a member, it's free. Non-members pay only $10, and snowflakes pay $20. There will be appetizers and a cash bar. The party starts at 5, so stop by after work. There will be a 50-50 raffle, silent auction, giveaways, and Todd and the 10 Pins will perform. With all that's going on in Chicago, the Northwest Side GOP Club's mission is to inspire thought and action to set things right in Chicago, politically, fiscally, socially, and culturally. President Trump's birthday is Wednesday, June 14th, and Chicago is celebrating at Revel Bar at 6169 Northwest Highway. For more information, visit northwestsidegop.com. That's nwsgop.com. And I encourage you to consider becoming a member of the Northwest Side GOP Club as well. It's only $35 a year. For more information, visit nwsgop.com and like NWSGOP on Facebook.
Yes, indeed. Summertime. Another hot one. Wait, gonna be a little bit cooler today. Back to hot. Gonna be windy. Maybe a thunderstorm mixed in for good measure. Up and down and up and down. The climate is always changing. Your company's heating and cooling system really gets a workout in Chicagoland. Be ready for anything this summer. Call Air Comfort and get your business's cooling system tuned up and running at peak performance. You see, the Air Comfort problem solvers can find small problems before they become big problems. Plus, proper maintenance will keep your system from wasting energy and money. Air Comfort will make sure your equipment is clean and and obstacle-free. And if your chiller is about to or has stopped working, they can install temporary solutions to keep you cool while the long-term fixes are put in place. The key to keep your climate from changing is preventative maintenance, and Air Comfort can help. Schedule a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system today. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
Worry less with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Oh, I'd be a nervous wreck if my daughter just got her license.
You know, Liberty Mutual actually helped me relax a little bit.
Liberty did what?
Yeah, with roadside assistance, Liberty Mutual is there to make sure she won't get stranded. Don't know what I'd do without it.
Sounds better than the alternative.
Which is?
Keeping her home until she's 30.
Visit us online to get a quote. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Optional 24-hour roadside assistance coverage. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
Want to feel like a total boss? Then switch to the best deal in America, Total Wireless. With Total Wireless, you get America's largest, most dependable network plus 5 gigs of high-speed data and unlimited talk and text for only $35 a month. Whoa, how did you get all that? Oh, that's right. You're totally a total boss, and you never sign a contract. Total Wireless, total confidence. Available at major retailers. Always refer to the latest terms and conditions of service at TotalWireless.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
A couple of corrections, Amy.
Yes?
I don't think you would know this. It's Christian Grey, not Sebastian, from 50 Shades of Grey. Christian, not Sebastian. I must have been thinking of Brideshead Revisited for some reason. I don't know why. Text from 847. Is there a picture of Fabio on the cover of Comey's opening statement? Text from 708. Gross. Text from 847. Everyone's going to need a smoke after his testimony, it seems. Text from Ann B. Davis's bowling ball. Let's not forget Comey wanting a threesome with Jeff Sessions the next time he met with Donald J. Trump.
That is the best one, but always from Ann B. Davis's bowling ball. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, it is a pleasure.
The legendary Chicago weatherman and Weather Channel founder John Coleman joins us to talk about the Paris Accord and local units of government like, say, the city of Chicago, who are passing their own resolutions to comply with Paris Accord guidelines in spite of the fact the U.S. won't. That's at 8:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
62 degrees in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Senators are gearing up to grill former FBI Director James Comey this morning. A transcript of Comey's opening statement confirms that he told the president the FBI was not personally investigating him. Senator Lindsey Graham does not believe, at least for the moment, that and is convinced that President Trump did not obstruct justice.
If being rude and crude and sometimes a bull in a china shop is a crime, he's convicted, but it's not. Donald Trump got elected to be the bull in the china shop for the American people, to break up Washington, to get it to work for them.
Last month, the president fired Comey, saying he wasn't doing a good job. The president will be giving a speech around the same time Comey is testifying in the Senate. President Trump will speak at a luncheon hosted by the Faith and Freedom Coalition. British voters are heading to the polls today, choosing the government that will lead them into the upcoming Brexit talks. Prime Minister Theresa May's Conservatives have lost much of a 20-point lead they had when the election was originally called, but still enjoy a lead over the Labour Party in the most recent polling. One man is dead, another is hurt following a blaze in Oak Lawn. 2 mobile homes caught fire early this morning near 90th and South Cicero. Authorities investigating after a suspicious house fire in Dundee that killed one and also killed a canine. Charges are pending following a deadly stabbing on Chicago's southwest side. It happened early this morning during a fight inside a home in the 2100 block of West 54th. Happy 100th anniversary today to the Big Red One. First ID, organized June 8th, 1917 in New York, New York. Chicago sports, Marlins 6-5 winners over the Cubs. Rays over the White Sox 3-1. The news, a service of Napa Auto Parts. This month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores, the rugged Bluetooth speaker with 24-hour battery, just $29.99. That's right. You can now have the freedom to play music wherever you please for just $29.99 while supplies last. 8:32 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Go to our website, GreatParkingLots.com. Check it out, GreatParkingLots.com.
Go to GreatParkingLots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. GreatParkingLots.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Do you know your bank's fraud tolerance? I'm Ann Dollagall, Treasury Management Executive. At Signature Bank, we have zero tolerance. While some of the big banks may write off smaller incidences of fraud, we use a multi-layered approach to fight fraud before it happens to our customers. There's been a record number of businesses hit with payments fraud this year. Keeping your business assets safe is our top priority. We are trained, and we will train you to recognize potential wire fraud threats and business email compromise scams. Call us today to find out how Signature Bank can work with your business to fight fraud.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
8:34. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Telemonti.
Thanks, Mike. Traffic on westbound 8094 is at a standstill from Central Avenue to Klein Avenue. At least part of this is due to ongoing road construction, but it's really a big jam. Indiana Toll Road does look fine as an alternate. Eastbound 8094, stop and go central to Ripley. The Edens Expressway is just 20 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose. Outbound 32. Kennedy, 58 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 40 from Montrose, 34 in the Express. Outbound 47 minutes to O'Hare. On Eisenhower, an hour and 13 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. 50 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 43 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 9 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 40 minutes. Ryan, 29 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, stop and go from the Adams Tollway to the Irving Park Toll. Northbound, 87th, 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Irving Park. The Adams Tollway's fine. Reagan Tollway slow 22nd. Tri-State, Veterans Memorial from Boughton most to the way to Roosevelt. Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Sunny and 82 today. Could be a passing shower overnight, and that could lead to a shower or thunderstorm. A risk, especially in the afternoon tomorrow, high 84. Currently 64. Next news coming up at 9. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Tasty Catering. Picnic better with tastycatering.com.
Hey, Joe Walsh, coming up on the Joe Walsh Show tonight, man. Not obstruction of justice, all right? Comey. We'll have the latest when freedom returns at 5.
Little bit of breaking news, Dan.
Yeah.
Melania Trump. And
she's a party animal.
She's a little piggy, didn't get invited to the party. She is moving to Washington, D.C. on
good.
June
That's where her husband
14th.
lives.
Right, well, she and Barron are moving there June 14th. It's official, so there you go. I was wrong, okay? You win.
Okay, well, this is a real treat, both for local parochial reasons, but also because he is an innovator and extremely knowledgeable on one of the big topics of the day, the Paris Accord that Trump withdrew the United States from last week, and then the reaction from state and local governments of a particular political bent, like, I don't know, say Chicago, where Emmanuel Tiny Dancer yesterday signed an executive order committing Chicago to the guidelines of the Paris Agreement because the world is depending on cities in the U.S. to take up the mantle of leadership on climate change, and Chicago is accepting that challenge. Aren't you encouraged, as Chicago is the worst governed city in the nation in terms of any financial stability or quality of life
Oh, this is big
metric? So what about those states and localities that are just working around the federal government? They're certainly welcome to do it, I suppose. But is it good policy? For that, we're pleased to be joined by legendary Chicago weatherman and founder of the Weather Channel. He's John Coleman. Mr. Coleman, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hi, Jake. Hi, Amy. Hi, Chicago, where it's usually cooler near the lake and gorgeously warm and sunny in the boonies and superbugs. Great to be
Brings
with
me
you.
back to my childhood.
You still got it. Coleman still got it. So what about...
Hello, particularly to my two grandsons who still live there.
Oh, okay.
And also to Bruce Becker, who used to work for me, who's a crazy guy. And to Tom Skilling, who just can't get rid of his Algorian baloney. But he's a great guy.
I like it.
And a great former friend.
All right. Anybody else?
Any other shout-outs?
Any other shout-outs or shots?
Well, I'm done with my shout-outs. I'm not going to get involved in anything else other than a hi to you guys at WIND, where at one time I did the morning weather reports.
Love it. Love it. Great history here. So the position of cities like Pittsburgh and now Chicago who are adopting the guidelines of the Paris Accord, even though the United States isn't at the federal level. What do you say to those mayors and municipalities, local units of government?
Well, it's all political. You see, here's what happened. Al Gore was the one who took some kind of antiquated science and turned it into a major government-funded industry, and he was a Democrat. So every Democrat has to believe, I've emphasized the word believe, science you shouldn't believe, that's more for religion and politics. In science, it either is or isn't. But in any case, every Democrat feels very strongly that global warming is going to destroy the climate of Earth. And it become a total political issue, not a scientific issue. And I say, shame on them.
But so many people believe it. I mean, because I have a lot of meteorologist friends. I used to work at Channel 5 and in Detroit, and half of them say that it's true, and the other half think the other half is crazy.
Now, you said something important there, Amy. Meteorologists on TV, half of them think it's not 97%. In fact, a survey by the American Meteorological Society, which I was a member, professional member for many years, a society that honored me as the broadcast meteorologist of the year. The society, they did a survey, and about half, a little less than half of TV meteorologists supported the global warming frenzy. Well, isn't that interesting? It was 50-50. Now, that's science for you, where the scientists take different sides and debate the topic, not where they believe in something. But here's what it all boils down to. Carbon dioxide. The Al Gore of the world says we are pumping billions and billions of tons of carbon into the atmosphere. Well, what's he talking about? What we're doing is using fossil fuels, which when they are burned, emit CO2, carbon dioxide, into the atmosphere. It's a little gas. It's absolutely invisible. It doesn't smell. You can't feel it. You can't see it. It's not smog hanging over the cities or anything. It's a little invisible gas. And after all these years of using fossil fuels, it is less than 1/2 of 1% of the atmosphere. It's almost nothing. And yet, scientists, because scientists get wrapped up in stuff, have come up with theories that this little greenhouse gas is some kind of spectacular warming, has some sort of warming impact. It's a tiny little greenhouse gas, as best I can tell, produces almost no impact. But yet, because the Earth is in natural warming, they take that little warming trend and they turn that into this giant crisis. Well, the crisis is phony, as best I can tell, and I've studied and studied and studied. I love this Earth. If I thought there was any possibility of coastal flooding or great droughts or superstorms, I would tell you, I would spread the word. But I can't find any evidence that that's valid at all. So enjoy the beautiful warm weather the next few days. I don't think those showers are really going to happen. If they do, they'll just sprinkle.
We get a weather forecast.
It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be gorgeous.
Well,
enjoy it.
John, let me ask you this, though. So there's incentives that are provided for people to politicize science. It could be government grant money. It could be kind of respect within peer groups that have already been politicized. What is it? So keep the academics on the sidelines for a second. What about meteorologists and the as you were talking about the TV weather people? Why would they ignore the data? Why would they ignore the fact that so many of the models have been wrong? Why would they ignore that?
Well, because they get totally wrapped up in it, and they find it makes them important. If they can say the sky is falling, we got a crisis, boy, people are going to listen to them. They're going to get on the top of the newscast with special reports. It's a tendency of people to want to get excited about something, and even TV weather people have biases. If they can find something that makes them important, I mean, if they say, "Oh, there's nothing to it, forget it," they don't even get on the newscast.
Well, do you know?
Say, "Hey, I got a big story for you. We're going to have flooding." They may read the newscast. That's a silliness.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's interesting.
And do you know of any meteorologists who have been fired because they don't go along with climate change?
I don't know any meteorologists who have been fired, but I know one who didn't get hired.
Mm-hmm.
Me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When they brought back the old guys newscasts in Chicago a few years ago, they thought they'd try bringing the old guys back. They considered hiring me, and they said, "Oh my God, we can't do that. This man doesn't believe in climate change."
Well, you showed them. You founded the Weather Channel. What do you need them for?
Well, I had my moment, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. He is John Coleman, legendary Chicago weatherman, a meteorologist in Champaign, Peoria, Chicago, Milwaukee, Good Morning America, and the founder of the Weather Channel. A lot of great moments for John Coleman, and it was a great moment for us to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Hi to everybody.
Oh, thank you. He's the best, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Do you believe the newscast he's talking about is when they brought back, Walter Jacobson and Bill Curtis on WBBM?
Yeah, Statler and Waldorf. I remember that.
Good for him. Stood up for his principles. Sunshine today. It's going to be beautiful. Highs in the mid-70s. Tonight, a chance of a shower, lows in the 60s. And tomorrow, Friday, yes, Friday is here. We're going to have periods of cloud and some sunshine and a shower or thunderstorm in spots. Hopefully near us to water the grass. A high of 84 degrees. Let's get into our alarm detection systems traffic center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Well, no storms and dowers in the way right now on the outbound Eisenhower. An earlier crash near Austin is gone. The roadway was briefly blocked, and the delays have largely dissipated. It's still heavy Coster to Mannheim, but the travel time is coming down. It's about 40 minutes Downtown to Thorndale, inbound from Thorndale to the post office, you're looking at an hour and 13 minutes. Eden's 20 minutes. Lakehook to Montrose, outbound 32. The Kennedy, 58 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 40 from Montrose, 34 in the Express, outbound 47 to O'Hare. Stevenson, an hour and 9 minutes. 3:55 to the Drive, outbound 38 minutes. The Ryan is 29 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive, southbound, slow Wilson to North Avenue and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound 31st to Jackson. Tri-State really heavy. Southbound from the Adams Tollway to the Irving Park Toll, and northbound 87th, 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Irving Park, 8094. Westbound really rough this morning. Central to Burr with the roadwork delays. And that has northbound I-65 backed up. Slow Ridge Road to 8094. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, are you a business owner? Hey, do you want to sleep better at night? Well, then use Turnkey IT for installation and support of your computer systems, because it is like having insurance for your computer network. For one affordable monthly payment, your company gets a full team of certified technicians who are there working in the background to ensure your systems are up and running. They'll help you over the phone and make house calls to your workplace. And Turnkey IT doesn't wait until there's an emergency call, because they work hard to take preventative measures to keep your network secure, backed up, and running nonstop. Turnkey IT can protect your network with the Turnkey experience, which is everything all in: Office 365 hosting, advanced network protection, cloud backup, disaster recovery, and unlimited remote and on-site support. So find out what Turnkey IT can do for your company. Visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
When you think about spring, what comes to mind? Baseball, tulips, spring cleaning? How about cleaning up your home? Hi, Amy Jacobson here to tell you about our good friends at CertaPro Painters. Spring has arrived, and it's a great time to focus on your exterior painting. Don't deny how ugly it is. You know, the chipping, peeling eyesore of a front porch. So do what I did and call CertaPro Painters now. 1-800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. They really are the best in the business. They're clean, responsible, talented. They increased our property values. They're such a top-notch company. They've been around for 25 years and counting. So do what I did and experience the CertaPro difference. 1-800-GO-CERTA or CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Need a new CPAP? Then we need you. We're CPAP.com, and we recently overstocked the world's best CPAP machines. Top-of-the-line devices from brands like ResMed and Philips Respironics. Call now and get one of these overstocked CPAPs for a fraction of the price. We'll even give you free next-day air shipping. Call 1-800-600-5909. The best part? No insurance needed. We're giving out these CPAPs at prices so low, they'll cost less than your copay and deductible through insurance. CPAP.com has shipped over 1 million orders and has the world's largest selection of CPAPs and accessories. With no retail overhead or costly middlemen, we're the best way to get comfortable, effective sleep apnea equipment at incredibly low prices. Again, CPAP.com has overstocked premium CPAPs. Call now to get a ResMed or Philips Respironics machine for a fraction of the price with free next-day air shipping. Call 1-800-600-5909. Hurry. When these overstocked CPAPs are gone, they're really gone. That's 1-800-600-5909.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. Rachel Carson was wrong about DDT. Paul Ehrlich's population bomb was a dud. Fashionable global cooling predictions about a coming ice age thawed. Now, Chinese communists, European socialists, Hollywood leftists, and Fortune 100 CEOs suggest that America's failure to lead from behind with our own unenforceable politicians' pledges on carbon emissions spells the imminent demise of our mortal coil. The culprit messing up the grand plans of the jet setters? Same as it's always been. The middle-income family and the small business owner-operator who seek pedestrian pursuits like a job or lower energy costs. You are the demons who must be slayed so that noted scientists like Leonardo DiCaprio, Bette Midler, and Governor Moonbeam can remake the world in their image. You left billionaire fossil fuels investor turned megafunder of leftist zealotry Tom Steyer with no choice but to term you traitors and declare war. You see, Trump isn't their real target, you are. And conservation isn't their real goal, control is. The left has been using environmentalism as their cover story to exert control over you for 50 years. Your existence doesn't threaten the planet, just the left's dominion over it.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so do you think there is no such thing as a political candidate who is too authentic? Well, reserve your answer to that question until you hear from 3rd District congressional candidate in Iowa, Amy.
Okay.
Her name is Heather Ryan. Here is her introductory video, which, by the way, doesn't do justice because you really have to see the visual, but I think you'll get a flavor of it.
Blah! Traditional campaign commercials make me barf. I'm Heather Ryan, and when I first started telling people that I was running for Iowa's 3rd congressional seat, professionals told me that I need to clean up my look and stop swearing. David Young flip-flopping on universal health care, it makes him a poopy head. But that's not who I am. I'm a Navy veteran with a family and a small business who takes politicians to task whenever they act like morons. My political views are slightly left of Jesus, but you can see them on my website at ryanforiowa.com. But I'm especially passionate about health care for all, sensible gun reform, and subsidies for hair products.
Subsidies.
Republican Congress member David Young pretends to be Iowa nice while he sells us out to corporations. I'm not pretend Iowa nice. I'm East Des Moines scrappy, and I'm ready to fight. But I can't do this alone. I need your help to win this election. Even if you prefer traditional campaign commercials, I need you too. So, here you go.
Yeah.
You know what? East Des Moines Scrappy, she went to Roosevelt High School. I'm sure she did.
Yeah.
They are East Des Moines Scrappy. You don't mess with them.
Finally, your local knowledge of Iowa paying off.
I like her. They're not so into the crude language, but you know what? That's authentic.
Take a look.
And somebody else who's coming out, so to speak, is, the new congressional member, Gianforte.
Gorgeous Greg Gianforte?
Yeah, the takedown guy.
And we'll talk to you about that later.
Yeah, but there's not going to be time. I'm just curious if you have the
speak
right
with
now.
Shane, please.
But you don't.
Oh, Biofire.
I'm sick and tired of you guys. The last guy that
Hook
came in
the
here, you did the same
leg.
thing.
Hook the leg.
Get the hell out of here.
So he has he's still going to court. He's got an
Get him a
extension
body bag
for misdemeanor assault, but he released a statement yesterday and some cash. He's apologized again, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about that. But he donated $50,000 to the Committee to Protect Journalists, like we're an endangered species. It's an independent, non-for-profit organization that promotes press freedom that protects the rights of journalists worldwide.
And it was started last week by Ben Jacobs, who is the only officer.
Exactly. So, no, but Ben Jacobs, he signed an agreement that he's not going to sue him, so that's good. But he also, keep in mind that a crowdfunding campaign to replace Jacobs' broken glasses raised more than $7,500, which Jacobs is going to...
the stylish kind.
He's going to now donate that to the Committee to Protect Journalists as well.
Protect journalists from gorgeous Greg Gianforte. That's just going to give him license for more body slamming. You got the money.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Dave Geiselhart, president and owner of Home Trust Mortgage and customer of Signature Bank. When the large banks turned away from the mortgage lending industry during the financial crisis, I turned to locally owned Signature Bank. Signature Bank stepped in and helped me expand our business at a time when the larger banks wouldn't. Today, I'm proud to say Home Trust Mortgage has been able to expand our business in Illinois and the Great Lakes region. We couldn't have done that without the help of Signature Bank. Signature Bank truly helps Chicago businesses like mine grow and thrive. That's why we also became personal customers and shareholders of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Worry less with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Oh, I'd be a nervous wreck if my daughter just got her license.
You know, Liberty Mutual actually helped me relax a little bit.
Liberty did what?
Yeah, with roadside assistance, Liberty Mutual is there to make sure she won't get stranded. Don't know what I'd do without it.
Sounds better than the alternative.
Which is?
Keeping her home until she's 30.
Visit us online to get a quote. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Optional 24-hour roadside assistance coverage. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
Want to feel like a total boss? Then switch to the best deal in America, Total Wireless. With Total Wireless, you get America's largest, most dependable network plus 5 gigs of high-speed data and unlimited talk and text for only $35 a month. Whoa, how did you get all that? Oh, that's right. You're totally a total boss, and you never sign a contract. Total Wireless, total confidence. Available at major retailers. Always refer to the latest terms and conditions of service at TotalWireless.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
Would you rather get your degree from one of the most innovative online universities in the country or one of the nation's most affordable? How about both? Now you can at Southern New Hampshire University. Get degree information and see how to apply online by texting the word FRESH to 554433. College tuition is skyrocketing, making getting a degree almost impossible for too many, but it doesn't have to be that way. Founded in 1932, Southern New Hampshire University has the credibility of a New England campus, but by offering programs online, we've made education incredibly accessible and affordable. You'll discover knowledge and skills from instructors who are leaders in their field. Plus, you get all the flexibility, support, and encouragement needed to prepare you for the career you've always wanted. Southern New Hampshire University. See yourself succeed. Grab your smartphone and do the smart thing. Get degree information and see how to apply online by texting FRESH to 554433. That's FRESH to 554433.
AM 560, The Answer.
Thank you so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical director, Keith Conrad, our executive producer, and you for listening. We're back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, an inmate allegedly holds a nurse and an officer hostage at a Joliet hospital. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. The wait